what you're involved with, but you were a team captain on the 85 National Championship Oklahoma Sooners, and you were a team captain on a Super Bowl championship team that had names like Montana Rice and others. What does that say about Spencer Tillman?
It says I was lucky as heck, and I had great parents, and I've always been leadership-centric and had great leaders around me. I learned early on that nothing significant happens without effective leadership. And I've always said, and I tell my family this all the time, that leadership is the attribute in greatest demand, yet shortest supply. And just last year, we had Ronnie and Joe come back in and help us out with the Lombardi Honors last year. And it was just a great
Welcome to SicEm365 Radio.
Is there, the puck is still loose, 11 seconds, you've got 10 seconds, the countdown going on right now, Morrow, up to Silk, 5 seconds left in the game, you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable!
SicEm365 Radio is presented by IdealMRI.com. High-quality MRIs for $497 or less. IdealMRI.com. Your health is important, so is your budget.
Up there swinging. Back to throws. There's a left back. I believe. The Giants take the pellet. 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 Bobby Thompson hits into the man net of the left field stand. The Giants take the pellet, and they're going crazy. They're going crazy.
The 3 o'clock hour is sponsored by Waco Custom Marketplace. Meats, sweets, Texas treats, and a cut above the rest. 425 Lake Air Drive, Waco.
Angie Dundee, Ali's trainer, right next to me is saying it. You may hear him. Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier! The heavyweight champion is taking the mandatory 8-count, and Foreman is as poised as can be in a neutral corner. He is...
Have you downloaded the SicEm365 Radio app? Do it today on the App Store and Google Play. Here's David Smoke, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoke.
What an open. Some of the great highlights, some that might have been exhilarating for you, some of them like Down Goes Frazier that were gut-wrenching for me, but the greatness of sports and highlights over at least part of my lifetime and part of yours, and in some cases, all of yours. David Smoke, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoke. We are loaded up today. 7 different guests, including 2 high school coaches, Jerry Bomar from Groesbeck and Hal Wasson from Corsicana, John Machota, the Athletic, late in the 5 o'clock hour on the Cowboys. We'll also hear from Tevin Reese, Baylor wide receiver now at Waco High.
Sweet feet.
Sweet feet. Jason King, SicEm365 at 345. Beasley Reese played with the Cowboys and the Giants. I believe the Buccaneers. He's the CEO of the NFL Alumni Organization. He's also a very decorated broadcaster. He was born in Waco, graduated from La Vega, played college football at what was then North Texas State. He'll join us today at 4. And Todd Berry, Executive Director of the American Football Coaches Association, on some news, kind of almost mini camp mentality near the end of July for college football programs. Good afternoon. Deontay Epps is here. Amelia is here taking pictures. And, man, we're glad you're here. We appreciate your time. Major League Baseball amateur draft is today. It's tonight. Nick Lofton, shortstop at Baylor, most likely at some point this evening will be drafted by somebody. And to me, this is part of those of the grass growing again that we wondered for how long would things be held up.
Yeah, I mean, it's some action. Excuse me, it's some action. It's not games, and I don't know when we're going to see baseball games again outside of the Korean League and maybe others that sprout up. But Major League-wise, there's not much doing right now. At a stalemate between the players' union and the owners, but they are going to proceed with the draft. It's not going to be what we're accustomed to. I don't know really how popular the MLB draft is for most, because it's kind of a niche thing, quite frankly. But it should be something that I would think more people would tune into tonight, given that it's going to be a shorter format. And, with the 5 rounds, it should go by pretty quickly. So, yeah, we'll see Nick Lofton drafted sometime tonight. I've seen Nick Canizalla's local TV is kind of putting out all of the various mock drafts, and I've seen one Bleacher Report had him going 28th to the Yankees. Another one had him going 27th to the Twins. And, Paul, you've seen him going much higher than that.
As high as 11th to the Cubs. And the part of the reason the MLB draft isn't as exciting for people is with basketball and football, those are more popular college sports to watch on television. So you're more familiar with the people. And in basketball, even back when there were high school people drafted, people talked about LeBron James and Kevin Garnett and Kobe Bryant so much leading up to the draft that you knew who they were in Sports Illustrated and all these things. With baseball, high school kids get drafted, so unless you're from Alameda, California, or wherever the kid's from, you're not going to know who he is. And college baseball is not nearly as popular, so if a kid wasn't in the College World Series, you might not know. And that also tied into the fact with in the NBA draft and the NFL draft, especially the early picks, you're going to see them play more than likely in 6 months. With the Major League Baseball draft, if you see them play in 6 months, they are a super stud. Most of the time, it's at least 18 before you've ever seen them on a Major League diamond.
Well, I mean, for example, the NBA draft this past season, there was no surprise who was going number one. It was Zion Williamson. The surprise was who was going to be the team that got to select him. In the NFL draft, we all knew it was going to be Joe Burrow. It was just a matter of who was going to be that team that tanked enough to get him, and it was the Bengals, and they got him number 1 overall. Could you guys tell me who the number 1 overall rated prospect is in the baseball draft?
I know there's a pitcher from A&M will be a top 5 or 10 pick. Asa Lacy, the left-hander.
It's the first baseman from Arizona State, right?
Yes, Spencer Torkelson, Arizona State first baseman. And I would think if you polled about 100 people, maybe a handful would be able to guess that. But yeah, Asa Lacy, MajorLeagueBaseball.com, A&M lefty, they have him at number 3 overall on the prospects list. And it'll be fun to see where Nick Lofton goes later on tonight and where some of these other guys go as well.
By the way, congratulations to Spencer Torkelson on overcoming a name that had you right out of Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah, no question. Also, Texas Tech has a right-handed pitcher, Clayton Beater, who could be a first-round pick, and MCC right-handed pitcher Connor Phillips. I had a back-and-forth text with Mitch Thompson, the MCC coach. Most likely he'll be going sometime tomorrow. He was drafted last year in the 35th round by Toronto, a right-handed pitcher, 6'2", 190. The draft starts at 3 o'clock tomorrow. It will start tonight, the first, 37 picks.
And MLB.com, for what it's worth, has Nick Lofton as their 36th overall prospect. So it just varies depending on where you look.
All right, so that's the draft. Also, some other news in college baseball, 254-339-1122, the Riverbend Liquor and Wine hotline, the text line, 254-339-1122, and also your thoughts by phone as well, brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Kendall Rogers, baseball writer, Division I Committee for Legislative Relief, has given D1 baseball, including, this is the upcoming academic year, 2020-21, 35-man roster, cap lifted, no limitation. Annual counter is increased from 27 to 32. The 25% scholarship minimum has been eliminated for a year.
Yeah, and so I am not very well versed in all things college baseball, so maybe Paul can shed more light. I know this is a boon for each program that's out there. My biggest question is just how does this affect those who had already felt like they had dealt with, the classes that were moving on, and the conversations that we know Steve Rodriguez, for example, had to have with a lot of guys. How much does this is obviously good news, but how much better would this have been had they, known this a couple of months ago? I understand why they couldn't have known that at the time, but yeah, this seems to be a big-time relief for most programs out there, and there's going to be teams who are already expected to be pretty good that will be that much better. So, this is pretty huge news for college baseball.
Yeah, I think we're looking at the potential. I think they'll probably deal with it. I think it's one of those things that you're already ready to bring some guys back, and now the roster's expanded, so maybe it makes it easier. I don't know. That's probably a question for a coach like Steve Rodriguez. But the good news is, college baseball, a sport that's kind of forgotten. It's lost in the shuffle. It's officially a non-revenue sport, and it is in most places. And it's a great sport that I think needs more eyes on it, and we might get the best college baseball season we've ever had.
Yeah, I heard you say that earlier, so that's one of the other things happening. Again, grass growing almost as if it's early spring, but here we are, it's June the 10th. Reggie Bush is officially back as a part of his alma mater at Southern Cal. The Heisman Trophy winner, one of the most dynamic players in the last 20, 25 years in college football, maybe forever. He was basically disassociated because of the NCAA violations, a 10-year mandatory disassociation, name struck from the record books, Heisman Trophy disappeared, pictures of him disappeared, anything Reggie Bush. And because of that 10-year time period, he is now officially back. Or USC was hit with a lot of impermissible benefit, all sorts of violations. It's hurt him for the last 10 years. Reggie Bush dreamed of this day for 10 years. I'm excited to come home.
Well, can you imagine if you're a recruit who liked Reggie Bush and you get to go to USC and you walk around and you don't see anything of him? I mean, I don't know. Do they still have OJ pictures up at USC?
OJ never got taken down.
So OJ never got taken down, and he is a convicted felon, even though the felony he got convicted for was not the one everybody wanted him to get convicted for, but he's a convicted felon. Reggie Bush, took him impermissible benefits. Yes, he did that.
In their end zone at the Coliseum,
but
they've got the rafters, and they've got the jerseys that are like, over the rafters or whatever, and OJ's was there, and Reggie Bush's was not.
Yeah, it's just silly. So get Reggie Bush back in there. That was probably the year of the Heisman Trophy race where I think legitimately it was the two most exciting players, and you could have gone either way with it with he and Vince Young.
Well, the USC had won it the year before, right? And so they had the momentum. Leinart had won it the year before. Vince Young, absolutely one of the greatest players ever to not win the Heisman. There's that argument. You can have that forever. And then Young wins the bowl game. And unfortunately, the Heisman Trophy is something that is selected, voted on before the bowl games.
I still maintain Adrian Peterson should have beat up Matt Leinart, but that's beside the point. So because of this, if they do decide to include Reggie Bush, because they haven't determined on the Heisman. He's back and he's reinstated, but, the Heisman was stripped. And so I don't know what's going to happen with that. But let's say the Heisman was reinstated, then that would put them in a tie for the most all-time at 7. Ohio State, Oklahoma, and Notre Dame also have 7 Heisman.
Wow.
So USC has 6 with no Reggie Bush, but, there's a little asterisk there.
The NCAA Division I Oversight Committee, of which is part of the American Football Coaches Association, Executive Director is Todd Berry. Craig sent to me this late last night. He'll join us today at 5 o'clock. They're setting up what might be kind of a NFL type, Craig, mini camp, workouts into type getting ready for the first week in August. Didn't you kind of get that feeling it's kind of like an extra bonus week of 2 weeks because there were no spring drills for most people?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to sort through as far as that goes, and Todd can illuminate us on all of the different things that they're working on right now. But, yeah, an extended college football preseason has been thrown out there, a couple of additional weeks. So, he's obviously very involved with the coaches and all that they, do. So he will have heard over these last few months all of the calamity and the concerns that are still there, and we'll be able to, kind of clear the air on that. But, yeah, it looks like an additional couple of weeks perhaps for the preseason.
NFL, new CBA changes, training camp rules to reporting dates, uniform dates, that all starts. It appears as if now 30 teams must now report July 28th, which is about just under 50 days prior to the first kickoff. There's been some that have started slightly earlier than that, especially the 2 teams that play in the Hall of Fame game. The Cowboys are supposed to play in that game, right, Paul?
Yeah, there's a note on there in there. Did I not get that one?
What's that?
The Hall of Fame is opening back up.
Yeah, no, that's next.
Okay.
That's in this. That's in this.
The Cowboys
deal.
are supposed to play in that. In Inexplicable. Here's you have to play a 5th preseason game.
Hall of Fame.
That's one of the 4.
In Canton, Ohio, open for business again. Of course, just a week or two ago, the Texas Sports Hall of Fame opened for business again. The game is scheduled, and is still scheduled for August the 6th. Rich Dalrymple, the communications director for the Hall of Fame, still scheduled with fans in the stands, said he thought the game could almost be a test case for the NFL. So that would be 5 preseason games. And the Cowboys no one would start earlier than July 28th. That's not a lot of turnaround time.
No, it's not. But they're going to, without minicamp, usually those things with minicamp, it's fine. No one's going to play in that game that's not 47 through 95 on the roster.
And yet, at the same time, there is talk of eliminating a couple of preseason games. So that's ongoing, and I think most teams would probably be in favor of that. I just don't think that you really need the full 4.
I would like to see them go to this camp 28th of July, do whatever they do, and maybe kind of a combination of old school and what we've seen the last 10 or 15 years where everybody's in shape when they show up unless they've been through rehab. Maybe play a couple of 3 preseason games and then go back into kind of a mini camp mentality, maybe a scrimmage with somebody. And that, not just force the issue, but the owners make money on preseason football.
Yeah.
The same ticket prices for a game in August is the same that he will make for a game during the regular season.
And you know how ridiculous that is by comparison ticket-wise. If you bought a ticket to go see the Eagles, not the band, the Eagles, a legendary rock band that's probably going to cost you $100 a ticket, and then you went to buy a ticket to go see a band that would open for the Eagles 10 spots ahead of them in like a festival and pay the same price, it's insane. Because that's what you're essentially paying for. You're not getting to see, especially in the 4th preseason game, you're paying full price for a ticket to watch Zeke Elliott and Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and all those guys walk around on the sideline.
SEC, the Big 12 has already pretty much not canceled. Well, they have the football media days. It's going to be somehow they're going to do it perhaps by virtual, like Zoom meeting. SEC announced it's canceled its in-person football media days. It's 4 days in Atlanta. It's almost like a Super Bowl Radio Row, and they'll go virtual format as well.
So they left Alabama this year. SEC has been in Alabama the last year.
Been in Hoover. Yeah, they've been in Hoover. It's supposed to be in Atlanta. Also, a couple other notes. Bubba Wallace will run, I think it is tonight, right, in Martinsville, in Tennessee, a Black Lives Matter 43 car. It's got the colors. It's black and white with the red 43 on the top. But on the hood, the front hood, there is clenched black and white hands clasping together.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Hashtag Black Lives Matter in the back left and right of the back of the car. And in the front of the car, it says, oppression, love, understanding on the front hood of the Bubba Wallace car. And the reactions to this, of course, were what you would expect on the anger
Why would you be
and the
angry about
frustration.
that?
Well, because one of the very first responses was, he sucks, he's not going to, that's not the point. He's one of very few people who are a NASCAR driver. He's black, and he wants no more Confederate flags. He's mentioned that. That'll be an interesting fight there. And now he's driving this car because of today, and of course, there's negative.
But I think that a lot of those people are trolls.
No,
or
they are.
They're just,
they're looking for something.
And
vice
again,
versa. By the way, and vice versa when it comes to politics, one way or the other.
Well,
right?
and you know one of the things that's interesting about Bubba Wallace is this is probably a segment of people who doesn't get to see stuff like this all the time or has not had it introduced to them. There have not been protests in NASCAR. So it's a whole section of a sports fan group that you can get the message out to that may not have seen it. I'm not taking a wild assumption.
And wouldn't you agree, Paul, if there's a sports fan base that will maybe be very much, whoa, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
It's the NASCAR fan.
Yeah, I hate to make an assumption, but I mean.
No, there's no assumption.
I mean, that's probably what's going to happen.
You're talking about the deep roots of southern United States.
Yeah.
And no matter the discussion about the flag and kneeling, that's going to be an interesting. That'll take a lot of time
Well, I was going to say that the people upset about the paint job, if there's actually those people out there, I don't understand you at all, but you're probably the same people that are upset about the Confederate flag not being present at NASCAR races any longer, which, again, is just a bit out of touch with today's world, and just a pointless fight to try to pose. The Confederate flag is going to be gone. It's not going to affect how fast the cars go. It's not going to affect the driver's abilities. It shouldn't affect you either. You can come up with some other flag to wave or some other sign to make. This is not the end of the world, and anybody upset about it, I think your priorities are completely mixed up. But Bubba Wallace is, he's very rare as a black driver. So for him to, have that, and I think it's great. He's got the white and black hands that are clasped together. It's not like he's alienating anybody, so who cares? I think it's great. Use your opportunity and use your platform.
The argument about the Confederate flag has always been an interesting one to me because of the way that they push down the road what the real issue is. Like, no, this isn't about racism. It's about Southern pride. Okay, why are you using that symbol of Southern pride? Well, that was when the South broke away from the North. Well, why did they? Because of states' rights. Oh, what right were they protesting? Oh, the right to make their own decisions. Their own decision to do what? And then you get to the point of slavery. That's what it was about. So for a large section of people, most people in the world, that means the country that supported slavery. So that's why it's bad.
Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, 2-fight deal. All British World Heavyweight Championship. 2021, sometime they'll meet.
Yeah, Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, two of the best heavyweight fighters in boxing, and a 2-fight deal. So it's going to be a heavyweight title unification fight, and this is already being set up as the biggest fight in British boxing history. Joshua had the embarrassing loss to Andy Ruiz last year. And by the way, on Andy Ruiz, have you guys heard about him since he lost to Joshua in the rematch?
No.
Remember how great of a story that was? First Mexican heavyweight champion and all that? I read a story on him the other day, and he has completely gone, AWOL. He's stopped training, showed up for the second Joshua rematch, completely out of shape. The money had already gone to his head a little bit. His trainers were completely confused as to what happened. But, yeah, it seems like he got that little bit of a spotlight, and for some people that can be a bit too much, or it kills their drive. And, Andy Ruiz was gone in a flash. But Joshua and Tyson Fury should be a big-time boxing matchup.
So a lot of times that happens. You win something you're not expecting to win, and then you realize that, you probably were somewhat fortunate no matter how hard you trained or you got lucky. It's like a Super Bowl championship team. A lot of times they don't know how to repeat the next year. Everything's against them, the draft, the schedule, whatever else, and sometimes they get complacent, so we'll see what happens with that. All right, it's 3:21. We have the guest that I mentioned. Yes. Okay, Steve Rodriguez, right now. Do you have his number?
Yeah.
His cell phone number?
Send it to me.
Take a break, and we'll come back with Baylor baseball coach Steve Rodriguez, a little bit on the draft, but also about the Division I legislative relief, next on SicEm365 Radio. You want to know why Stonewood Dental is so successful? Listen to what happy customers have to say.
Pleasant. It's different than any other dentist office. I really feel like they care. And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. Staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. You feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
We're fighting hard at Pickup Outfitters in our battle to end truck nudity. But it's not just about putting an outfit on a naked truck, it's about making sure you have the very best customer service. So we offer the Pickup Outfitters Lifetime Installation Guarantee. Over time, sometimes your outfit needs a little tune-up, maybe some tightening, adjusting, whatever. If you outfitted your truck at Pickup Outfitters, that tune-up is absolutely no charge for the remainder of the time you own that truck. We also offer free warranty assistance. If for any reason you need to use your warranty, you just bring it back to us and we take care of it. It just makes sense. I mean, operating without a promise like that would be like offering customer service in the nude. And if you've seen our staff, trust me, you don't want that. So do your part to end truck nudity by outfitting your truck, Jeep, SUV, or van at Pickup Outfitters, 220 Lake Air Drive in Waco, where we promise to serve you fully clothed. Check out our website, createacommotion.com.
Time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. And order 30-pound bags of live crawfish by noon on Thursday and pick up on Friday to enjoy the weekend. Live crawfish available right now. And Waco Custom Marketplace doors are open for business Monday through Friday from 9 to 6, Saturday 10 to 5. And crawfish boil boxes available as well. Make your order for live crawfish by noon on Thursday. Pick up on Friday for the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh kolaches, cinnamon rolls, and baked bread daily. Butcher shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage, boudin, and house-cured and smoked bacon. Spices, seasonings, soup mixes, charcoal, and lighter fluid. Waco Custom Marketplace. Doors open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturday 10 to 5. 425 Lake Air Drive or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be part of the Waco community. We're a small family business here in Central Texas. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important. And unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. And that's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through this difficult time. So if you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. You can schedule online in minutes at idealmri.com or call 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Drive forward at Allen Samuels. Get big summer values on new Jeeps, the vehicles of summer. Get 0% for 72 and no payments for 90 days on select Jeeps, plus new Jeep Gladiators featuring employee pricing for all. New Ram Lone Star Crew Cab 4x4s feature up to $10,250 in values. Shop safely in person or shop and buy online at AllenSamuelsDCJ.com. Your friend in the car business, Allen Samuels.
Ask for details.
This is SicEm365 Radio. The SicEm365 Radio app is sponsored by Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Waco. Your friend in the car business at Loop 340 and east of 84. Come by. Let's be friends.
Greg Smoke, Paul Catalina, David Smoke. This is SicEm365 Radio. All of our Baylor segments are brought to you by Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac. Great prices, free oil changes with a new purchase, and pretty much the warranties you need when it comes to service with a purchase of any car vehicle at Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac. We're now joined by Baylor baseball coach Steve Rodriguez. And first of all, how you been? What's up, Coach?
Doing great, Smoke. How are you doing?
Well, we're doing well. Man, it's like I've tried to use this as an example. There's like grass is growing. In other words, things that are happening in sports and, of course, getting close to games, NASCAR tonight, things that are happening. How much did this Division I committee for legislative relief, the changes that were made, I saw the report by Kendall Rogers, can you kind of put that in layman's terms?
I probably can't, but I'll do my best. I'm going to go both. I can give you both sides. All right. So I can give you the pluses and the minuses. And it really kind of depends on how you're looking at it.
Yep.
And that'll kind of feed the fire on whichever side you believe. So the pluses, Major League Baseball has changed the draft, only 5 rounds. So a lot of kids who typically have a chance to go and play professionally are not going to get that opportunity. Not to mention there's no minor league season to play anyway. So they're going to need a place to go. So chances are college baseball is going to have this huge influx of high school players, which is great. They're going to have a great opportunity to go play. And so them expanding the rosters where there's really no limit to the rosters allows those young men an opportunity to go and play at a Division I school or JC or whatever it is. So, the other side of that is with no roster limits now. Let's say you have 50 players on your team. Well, we're only still playing, 9 guys at a time. And so nothing is going to change in that regard, except you're just going to have a lot of guys that you're going to have to maneuver in regards to practices and stuff like that. A plus for us in regards to that is obviously with the COVID-19 thing, the processes that we're having to go through. If all of a sudden one of our households, like a group of our guys of our team, come down, test positive, need to go quarantine 14 days, we're going to have extra guys that we're able to pull from. And so that is a plus. If all of a sudden a group of them go down and you're literally short guys, that could be a detriment. That's kind of a big issue. Going from the 27 to the 32 counters in regards to scholarship recipients, I can see where they're going with that. That doesn't really affect us all that much. It usually doesn't with a lot of private schools. So for us, that's kind of like a non-factor.
Mm-hmm.
And then the adjustability with the 25%, I can see where they're going with that just because of the number of guys that you're going to have coming in, and you may have to adjust some scholarships. So if a young man goes below 25%, he's going to have to be guaranteed that above 25%. So there's going to be like a multi-year deal that has to go into play. And so there's some things that are some nuances. I've been on the road for a while, and so I have to kind of really dig into it. But like as of right now, those are some of the things. Like I can see the positives just in regards to being able to have a bunch of guys be able to work with in case you have injuries and stuff like that. It's going to be a plus. In case some guys get sick, it's going to be a plus. Or test positive, it's going to be a plus. The downside is, we still have social distancing issues. We still have clubhouse issues. We don't have a clubhouse built for 50 guys. We travel. Are you going to be able to travel 50 players? Because are there budget constraints that are going to be tied to that? So there's still a lot of things that kind of have to go into it. And I think, to be honest, we're kind of kicking this can down the road a little bit and kind of pushing it off till next year because eventually these decisions are going to have to be made. We can't keep making revisions to things that are being caused by some outside entities. Either we're going to have to just deal with it and move on, or we're going to have to continue to make waiver changes throughout the next several years, which is always a pain just because you're playing with you're moving the goalpost all the time, and it makes it difficult.
Would it also make it difficult? I know that your scholarship size is not always going to be as this big, it's 13.7, but it's going to be hard to put a genie back in a bottle to get you back down below, or to where you were, isn't it? So if they say
it's actually at 11.7.
Yeah.
There was a push to make it to 13.7, but that did not pass. So it's still going to be 11.7 for now the X number of players that we're going to have, plus the seniors that are coming back. They're kind of exempt from all of these numbers.
But is it even if say we have to deal with this for 2 years, and you, like you said, kick the can down the road, and then 2 years from now they decide, well, we need to get it back down to where it was. That's a hard genie to put back in the bottle, isn't it, Coach?
No, that's exactly right. That's kind of what I'm saying is that you're kind of pushing it off till next year, then they'll push it off till next year, and at some point you're going to have to kind of get it back to where it was. And my feeling is you kind of do it as quickly as possible to let everybody go about their business and create their lives the way they're supposed to be done. For some young men, it will give them an opportunity to go play earlier instead of going to a Division I school and not playing. So there's some things that I can see the pluses and the minuses about it. But this is something that eventually, because they said this is a 1-year waiver for us to be able to receive these things. So next year, everybody has to be back down to 35 and 11.7 with 27 counters.
Mac Rhodes had told us that you and the rest of the coaches have done a tremendous job, but you guys in particular with having to deal with the scholarship situation, players having the opportunity to return. You mentioned that it's a little bit different with private schools. You're not as much affected, but how have you been affected, I guess, by today's news, if at all? Does it change anything that you guys had to do previously to account for the lost semester?
We haven't really had to do anything different than what we normally do. I did it a little bit earlier in regards to some roster adjustments, just because I wanted some of our guys, if they wanted to go play someplace, to have an opportunity to be early enough in the transfer portal to where they might be able to go somewhere instead of having now. Right now there's over 1,000 guys in the transfer portal. So hopefully they were in there early enough to be able to find a place to play early on before the huge influx of guys came in toward the end of the semester.
Steve Rodriguez, Baylor baseball coach, with us on SicEm365 Radio, and I know you don't have that much more time, but Nick Lofton, it appears sometime later on this afternoon or this evening, will be selected, you would think, in the first round of the amateur draft. Is your phone blowing up? How does that go from your perspective?
From my perspective, I get to deal with all the people who write the check. So what happens is a lot of major league teams will have their cross checkers and their national guys contact me just to do a character check, make sure that I'm seeing the same thing they're seeing, and so they can just kind of cross-reference, because when you're going to give somebody a lot of money, you need to make sure you do your homework and you have a good understanding about the young man and the player that you're getting put into your organization with the number one pick. And so, we're expecting him to go anywhere between the 15th and the 25th pick. It just really is a matter of how teams are going to manage their allotment for the 5 rounds. And if one person wants to give, Nick Lofton a lot of money and maybe do price savings at a certain round, then they might be able to do that with them, and it pushes them higher up in the draft. So it'll be interesting to kind of see how it all plays out. But all I know is that all of our coaches, our team, and the Baylor baseball fans are going to be excited to watch that tonight.
Well, it'd be a great moment. It will be a great moment. He's also got a media session that Rachel Caton has set up for tomorrow sometime late morning. That'll be great to hear his discussion about what we hope turns out to be one heck of a night for him, for Nick Lofton, his family, friends, and obviously Baylor baseball. Steve, thanks for jumping on with us, and thank you for kind of breaking down whatever all this means. Thank you for your time.
Yeah. You bet, guys. Anytime. I'm still trying to figure it out, too.
Steve Rodriguez, Baylor baseball coach. And, you see that. It looks like it's all good news, but as he mentioned, it's kind of a little bit of both.
Yeah.
It's kind of a little bit of both. And even when the immediate, this isn't fair for athletes who are part of spring or the late winter sports, or, everyone, like, everything should be given back. And I get the sentiment, but that was the initial surge. And then you started to have some coaches go, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Not that they don't want good talent or depth, but wait a minute. And so he kind of helped break that down a little bit. We loaded up guest list today.
Yeah, and I do think this. I think it's kind of silly that they didn't pass increased scholarship limits when you're going to increase the roster. I mean, that's just insane.
Yep.
Of course, I'm one who's long believed that college baseball's gotten the short end of the stick on this for a long time, and it is, one of the side effects of Title IX that they had to balance all this stuff out, and that's fine, but I just think that they need to raise that. And I think they need to raise it across the board, whatever sports.
Jason King will join us next, SicEm365.com. He's the one that sends out the homework assignment, so to speak, either on usually Sunday or Monday nights. And one of the questions we have to answer is about something about food or cooking or whatever, or anything. He'll be with us next. And then we go full throttle the rest of the way, thanks to Steve Rodriguez. One note, Cottonwood Creek Golf Course, we've been sending out gift certificates, 254-339-1122 when you call the show. They have their Titleist fitting event coming up June 22nd from 11 o'clock until just after 4 to get fit for Titleist golf clubs or have your product questions answered. You can book an appointment. Contact Cottonwood Creek head pro Kenny Duran. Cottonwood Creek, the Titleist fitting event. This is always very popular. June 22nd will be from 11 a.m. till 4 p.m., a little bit after 4 o'clock, right there on Bagby. This is SicEm365 Radio.
Richard Carr, Buick GMC Cadillac. I've been telling you guys about Richard Carr for years now, and they have been so good about being able to deal with their customers while going through what has been a very rough time as far as COVID-19 goes. It's a matter of disinfecting the showroom, knowing that people aren't always going to want to come into the dealership, and so they've accounted for that. They are the people you can count on. After all, a local family dealer run by Baylor Bear alumni. They are overloaded right now with used cars and trucks, over 100 in stock. Richard Carr has a lot of work to do to move pre-owned vehicles now. They've got over 25 used trucks in stock, all at discounted prices. They've also got the ultimate in luxury, style, and power when you're looking for a new SUV. Drive the Cadillac XT4, XT5, or the 7-passenger Cadillac XT6. Experience the thrill of owning the Cadillac XT4 right now for only $35,900 at Richard Carr Cadillac. They've got great prices, free oil changes with a new purchase, and in-town priority warranty service. All comes with your purchase at Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac. Richard Carr Motors, again, the people you can count on, a local family dealer, Baylor Bear alumni. They just want the chance to earn your business. They've got the daily disinfected showroom. Their safety-focused staff will bring the test drive to your home if that's what makes you feel more comfortable, because your comfort and safety is Richard Carr's first priority. Find them at richardcarr.com or Highway 6 at the Imperial exit.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, French oak, rye, and brimstone. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
Do you love Friday Night Lights? Would you like to have a bigger role than just watching the action to ensure the games are played fairly and safely? The Waco football chapter of the Texas Association of Sports Officials, or TASO, can make that happen. The 2020 Texas high school football season is right around the corner, and we need you to be a part of it. There's a shortage of officials across the state in all sports, and you can help. If you love the game and want to be a part of the solution, you can help our local student athletes continue to participate in games they love. Never officiated before? Don't worry. Waco Football Chapter can help and prepare you to make the right call. And right now, Introduction to Football Officiating class is accepting registrations. Make your first grade call today by looking us up and contacting us on Facebook at Waco Football Chapter or at our website, wacofootballchapter.com. Find out more about the Waco Football Chapter of the Texas Association of Sports Officials, or TASO. Go to wacofootballchapter.com.
Texas board-certified personal injury trial lawyer and Baylor alum David Willis and Baylor alum Parker Willis are ready to help if you or a loved one has been wrongfully injured in an auto accident, SUV rollover, industrial accident, 18-wheeler crash, or were seriously injured by a defective product or recalled drug. Call them for a confidential and free case consultation at 1-800-GOT-HURT or visit them at texastriallawyer.com, principal office in Houston, Texas.
Have you ever thought about how great it would feel a month or 6 months or a year from now if you weighed less and were in better shape and more fit than you are today? Think about that. Words can't explain the confidence I have because of what I've experienced and what I continue to experience every day at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness. I promise if you join today, you'll thank me later. Offering a variety of different classes, over 40 of them every single week, including boot camp on Tuesday and Thursday mornings. And there's free daycare. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness open Monday through Thursday 5 to 10, Friday 5 to 8, Saturday and Sunday 7 to 7. Contact personal trainers Christy London or Randall Corley and let them make you feel better about yourself. Also, world-class tennis facility with Pro Britt Coleman and Director of Adult Tennis and Special Events Joe Rosa. A spacious, clean, and sanitized workout room, no intimidation, tremendous camaraderie, an all-new atmosphere that will make you love doing burpees. It's time to react today, not tomorrow. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lake Shore Drive in Waco.
This is SicEm365 Radio. The SicEm365 Radio call-in line segment is sponsored by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, where curbside pickup and drive-thru are now available. Next in line.
You know, back when I was in high school, not really, because I don't think it was that difficult. You just paid attention in class. And in college, though, I was wait until the very last second for any of my crunching for a final exam. And I used flashcards, index cards, photographic memory, whatever you want to call it. And it always worked out, but I waited till the last second. Jason King, every Sunday, is that right, guys? Sunday or Monday, sends out a group of homework assignments. And I very late in the night, he said, get it in by 8 o'clock the next morning. Very late in the night, I start just start popping away. And the best one, the one that is always, Jason, is it true the one that gets the most attention is the one that's the non-sports? It's about, like, what's your favorite order at Whataburger?
Yeah, it's amazing. The real polarizing topics that everyone wants to talk about, David. You know, the food questions, or sometimes it involves TV or movie or pop culture or whatever. But yeah, we try to give readers all our good insight on Baylor sports, and they just kind of skim over those and go straight to question 5, which is always the kind of off the wall question.
Well, I mean, I told you when we called for the Whataburger one, it's clearly non-Whataburger. The original Whataburger, it's taquitos. You got to go breakfast. That's me.
Yeah. Well, the question was if you went to Whataburger and you ordered something besides the actual Whataburger, you know, which to me is the best item on the menu. But if you couldn't order that and you had to pick the next best menu item, what would it be? And, you know, the answers are pretty wide ranging. But, you know, Paul obviously said taquitos, which that's hard to argue. I wasn't really thinking breakfast when I was answering that question. Man, if I'm there for breakfast, that's what I'm getting. I went with the patty melt, which weighs about as much as a brick.
Deontay is pumping his
really
fist right now. Deontay is very much in agreement.
Sometimes you should Google, not Google, but like YouTube, like Whataburger patty melt. I think there's like a video, like with a commercial of them like making patty melt that they use for some kind of commercial, and man, it'll sell you real fast. It's a good menu item, but I tell you what, I have a hard time getting anything but the double meat Whataburger with bacon and cheese and jalapenos bun toasted on both sides. I can't go wrong with that.
You know, I did the double, but I can't tell you the last time I ordered one, but the double was always the one that I like. You asked the question, who was the best role player? I think you mentioned best role player in the Scott Drew era. I mentioned Anthony Jones, even though he started like 130 games, because he kind of had his role. Well, kind of go over that with our audience, Jason King, SicEm365.
Well, you know, Scott Drew's had so many good teams here in recent years, or last 10+ years actually. And you always think of the big name guys, the Quincy Aces, Pierre Jackson, Jared Butler kind of players, but. The Ish Wainwrights sometimes are forgotten about. The Anthony Joneses who started on. Did he start on 2 Elite 8 teams? I know he was on the one in 2012, but again, and then maybe 2010. I can't remember, but such a good role player that hit some big shots down the stretch. I went with Devontae Bandu. Everyone talked about Baylor's big 3 last year in the backcourt of Mitchell and Butler and Teague, but I think Bandu single-handedly came in and won them 3 or 4 games in conference play with some big shots late to keep that streak alive. And there was just a lot of answers for that one. And those role players are important, no question. A.J. Walton was another one that got mentioned by Ashley Hodge.
A.J. Walton, to me, Jason, he was a very frustrating player because he wasn't an offensive player, but on a team that didn't have a lot of guys that wanted to play hard defense, he was the one who did.
The thing I remember the most about A.J. Walton was just how much he improved over the course of his career. I mean, I think, he was kind of maddening at times early on with some just costly turnovers, fouls, and weird situations, didn't score a lot. And, you kind of thought, what does he bring to the table? What's he really bringing to this team? Got the last couple of years there, he got so much better. And from what I understand, was a huge presence in the locker room as well, just kind of when it came to team unity and keeping everyone out and that kind of stuff. And then you throw in the defensive factor. He was such a good defensive player. Yeah, I mean, when you think back to some of those successful teams, his name doesn't usually pop up with the common fan, but if you ask anyone close to that program, and they'll speak highly of him.
Jason, I found the most interesting set of answers to be in regards to Baylor's schedule next year. I think we can all agree it's a pretty daunting schedule compared to what we're used to starting right out of the gates with Ole Miss. But, a lot of us, Smokey, myself, went with Iowa State. Ashley said he would have gone with Iowa State pre-COVID-19. Grayson said Iowa State, but there were some mixed answers, and I think there's a lot of arguments that can be made for multiple games this year.
Absolutely. I mean, I went with actually I kind of altered the question in my answer. I mean, I went with Louisiana Tech, not because I think they're the best opponent or they're going to be the toughest game, but sometimes like it's one of those kind of sneaky, scary games that you can overlook, and all of a sudden you find a loss early in the season that no one was even thinking about or anticipating. But that's a team that I believe they've had like 8 straight winning seasons, and I think they've averaged like 9 wins a game during that stretch. And Skip Holtz is an excellent coach, and they went 10-3 last year, won their bowl game. I mean, to play them, in September when you've got a first-year coach and Dave Aranda who's trying to kind of instill his packages and things like that. I mean, that's one that if you're not careful could definitely sneak up and bite you. But hopefully that won't happen. But hopefully they'll be ready for it. But yeah, but I think the Big 12 is going to be so good and so balanced this year that pretty much you could make a case for any of those games being scary.
I think one thing is for sure, if Baylor gets out of their non-conference unscathed, there's nobody that can make fun of Baylor's non-conference schedule for once. I mean, between Ole Miss and La Tech, I mean, that's two really good wins outside of the Big 12.
Yeah, I mean, gone are the days of the laughable non-conference schedule, at least for the foreseeable future. And, sometimes, the thing about the people forget is, like, sometimes you schedule these teams and they're not great. Their program is not great at the time you scheduled it. But then, all of a sudden, they get really good. I remember, a few years ago I covered Kansas for the Kansas City Star, and I think they had scheduled Duke or I think it was South Florida or something. And at the time, everyone's like, oh, why would they schedule them? But all of a sudden, those teams got really, really good. And it's like, people forget sometimes those schedules are made 3 or 4 years in advance.
I mentioned Iowa State too, but I'll never forget, and I don't know if it was the 2010 or 11 team that went to Monroe, Louisiana, and I traveled with them because we didn't have a high school game that night. So I went and covered Baylor and UL Monroe, and that was about as dicey as it could get. That was one of those early against a team, and UL Monroe is, those teams out of Louisiana, there's some talent, a bunch.
Right.
I remember that.
Yeah. Baylor won the game, didn't they?
They won the game. Yeah.
Close?
Yeah, but it could have, there was a point maybe in the mid to late third quarter which it could have gone either way. Could have gone either way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
God, and you play those games on the road. I mean, usually you wouldn't want to schedule one like that. There's not a lot of beneficial things that can happen for you, when you schedule a mid-major team on the road. It's like, why do it? I mean, if you win, well, everyone expected you to win. If you lose, I mean, it's a huge upset. So that's why most teams don't do that, and hopefully we won't see Baylor doing that much anymore.
Who did won with at least, among us, the most valuable football coach, and then the readers of the past and present in recent memory?
Oh, yeah. Another question was who's the most important assistant football coach on Baylor's staff in recent memory. I mean, to me, it seemed like everyone wanted to answer Joey McGuire, and I guess some people just for the sake of argument went with some other people. But I just think he's made so many fans and gained so much respect, during his time in Waco, not just for what he does on the field, just the overall energy and vibe he gives to that program. Whether it's in the locker room, whether it's on the recruiting trail. And not only that, but just the job he did of kind of during this transition. Obviously he wanted that head coaching job, didn't get it, but he's still here and positive and making a huge difference. So everyone kind of loves Joey McGuire. I mean, I think Phil Bennett was another good answer, and I answered, and I think Ashley Hodge answered Lynn Thorpe. I think even though he hasn't coached yet under the staff, I mean, people were just so excited about the offense. I think Baylor's going to have a really exciting offense under him, especially in the running game. There's so much anticipation and excitement for that. Plus, he had a really nice stint at Baylor under Chuck Reedy when they were signing those, high-level recruiting classes and getting those top 20 guys in the state. I mean, the door was a big reason. So I think he's going to do great things for this group.
I mentioned, and I threw out Joey McGuire immediately, but the Phil Bennett, who I don't know if anyone ever really – because no matter what, because the offense was dominating, but all they needed to do was start getting 1 or 2 stops a half, and they were going to win 3 or 4 more games. That's what happened. But Randy Clements, the offensive line coach, who's now at Ole Miss, along with Levy and with Lane Kiffin, what he did year in and year out. I mean, those were grown men that and they could play every position, and don't underestimate how important he was, the relationships he had built in East Texas as well. So he was one that that sometimes just never, gets thought about at all.
Yeah, he's a highly respected coach. I mean, just all around the country. I remember I was doing a high school story back when I was at Bleacher Report down in Manville, Texas, and all the coaches down there would always ask about Randy Clements, and he just seems to have built so many good relationships and has a lot of people's respect without question.
All right, so I always do this when we wrap it up with you. A pulse, anything new? They kind of gave us the dates, I guess, last week when it comes to the NBA, the NCAA set for something early August. I know that seems like forever, and it is like 6 weeks from now. Anything new on the thermometer of Jared Butler and Maceo T?
Well, just from the people I've spoken with, I mean, and this kind of actually goes against, David, what you and I were kind of, I guess, our gut feeling, but it seems like the staff and the people close to the program feel pretty good about Teague coming back, and I think they feel pretty good about Butler. Someone put it to me that they feel like maybe 90% on Teague and 70% on Butler. So, that's just kind of one man's take, but I still think in the end, I think we'll see both of them back, and I'm hoping that they don't stretch it out on that August 3rd date. I don't see why they would, but you never know. I'll try to. I'm gonna definitely dig on that a little bit more. Hopefully, I'll have some more concrete or news to report here in a week or two.
Okay, that's Jason King with us. SicEm365.com does an incredible job with basketball and, of course, the homework assignments that we have on Sunday and Monday night.
So I have a couple of things here. For one, NASCAR has just come out with an official statement saying the presence of the Confederate flag at NASCAR events runs contrary to our commitment to providing a welcoming and inclusive environment for all fans, our competitors, and our industry. Bringing people together around a love for racing and the community that it creates is what makes our fans and sports special. The display of the Confederate flag will be prohibited from all NASCAR events and properties. So that is now official from NASCAR in the last 10 minutes. So done. That's done and over with. And again, they'll be racing later on tonight. And I went back and looked at the box score for ULM and Baylor. I was not around for that game. I do remember a little bit about it, though. But with 7:10 to go in the fourth quarter, Baylor took the lead. They had been down 35-34. 7:10 left. Levi Norwood had a 9-yard rushing touchdown that gave them a 5-point lead. And then they scored again about 4.5 minutes later. Nick Florence to Terrence Williams gave them a 12-point lead. Colton Browning from Maybank was the quarterback for ULM. He was a good player.
Good player.
And they scored, but they scored at the very end of the fourth quarter, and they couldn't do anything with only 6 seconds left. But yeah, that was a dicey game.
I remember driving there. I did the show from the press box. ULM was fantastic, hospitable. They were a wonderful atmosphere. Tailgating was incredible. And then after the game was over, I got the post game. It was a dicey game, and then I stayed the night. And I think I walked over to a casino from wherever I stayed that night, and then drove back. And I was flying solo, wasn't I?
Yeah, I was watching it in a bar in Tallahassee.
You were in Florida for a wedding or whatever. When we come, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, Nick Florence, 26 of 39, 351 yards, 4 TDs, and 2 picks. Tevin Reese had a huge night that night. 8 catches, 145 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
He'll join us today at 4:30. Coming up next, La Vega alum, decorated broadcaster. His name, Beasley Reese, who's the CEO of the NFL Alumni. Next on SicEm365 Radio. Waco Custom Marketplace. The doors are open Monday through Saturday. I'll give you the times in a little bit. But you can also, right now, it's Wednesday, you have until noon tomorrow to order 30-pound bags of live crawfish. So you'll have the crawfish to pick up on Friday and enjoy the crawfish boil coming up this weekend. I mean, summer is here. Crawfish boils are in full throttle. It's ready. It's go time. So by noon on Thursday, order 30-pound bags of, I'm talking about fresh live crawfish. And you can pick it up. If you order by Thursday at noon, you can pick up the 30-pound bags at Waco Custom Marketplace on Lake Air Drive in Waco on Friday and have it for the weekend. And you can customize whatever orders you want when it comes to the butcher shop, whether it's poultry or pork, seafood and or beef, from as something simple as hamburger to something that may be a little bit nicer, like something really nice when it comes to customized steaks. The bakery is open with kolaches and cake and pies, donuts, and fresh bread baked daily. Waco Custom Marketplace. Again, live crawfish orders by noon on Thursday. Pick it up on Friday for the weekend at 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco.
In great times or tough times, you always feel better working with someone who's there for you. When it comes to great banking, people here count on the First National Bank of Central Texas. Here to help you, your family, and your business. Personal banking via phone, desktop, tablet, and drive-through. And business banking tailored for all situations, including yours. Amazing tomorrows from the First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction with a team of 24 experienced agents who are excited about serving you. Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Hi, this is Ray Miles, head football coach at Lorena High School, and you're listening to SicEm365 Radio with David Smoke, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoke.
SicEm365 Radio is presented by IdealMRI.com. Ideal MRI is a small family business right here in Central Texas. We're open to support our community through this crisis. When you need an MRI, ask your doctor for an Ideal MRI. Visit us at IdealMRI.com or call us at 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries, celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas. Our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Trust the doctors that Baylor trusts. Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
I hate my job, but I don't mind getting up in the morning. I dread each day, but I can't wait to get out of bed. You ask me why, and what I'll say to you is true. Well, you can get breakfast tacos at Rudy's Barbecue. Scrambled eggs and brisket, they ain't fooling around. Salsa drap, son, they're the best in town. Barbecue for breakfast, yes, it's true. Put a smile on your morning at Rudy's Barbecue. Next in line.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
This is SicEm365 Radio.
2:20 remaining in the ball game. Aikman. Urban. Touchdown, Dallas.
The 4 o'clock hour is sponsored by Boozer's Jewelers, the wedding ring store, specializing in custom jewelry and repair, all in-house. Here's David Smoke, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoke.
All right, here we go, this 4 o'clock hour. At the bottom of the hour, Tevin Reese, former Baylor wide receiver, and now a part of the Waco High coaching staff. Right now, we're joined by the CEO of the NFL Alumni Association, former La Vega Pirate, Beasley Reese, who joins us on SicEm365 Radio. Beasley, how have you been? How you got this massive league? There's so much going on. How busy have you been as you get ready for the summer?
Well, we are busy. We are constantly looking for sponsors and partners to help us fund our player programs. We have 35 chapters around the country, and they hold charity events, namely golf tournaments and galas and shooting clays and bowling tournaments, whatever the presidents come up with to raise money. And we historically give over $1.5 million to children's charities local to our chapters. So I'm proud of our work. We are always busy. And right now we are, we had a COVID-19 fund where retired players donating to the fund donated enough money where 100% of the players that asked for help, we were able to send them a check. So we're always busy.
You know, I think one of the things that people may not know, they hear NFL alumni, people maybe automatically assume that every NFL player of all time has made a bunch of money, and that's certainly not the case. And there are a lot of things that you guys have to do for players. I think recent years with the different lawsuits of the NFL and things, people have seen the light shined on how hard a sport this was to play. How much of this was kind of a calling for you to help out guys that do need that help, that played this game, especially long before people make good money doing it?
Well, 100%. That was the reason for me coming out of retirement. For 35 years, I was a television sports anchor like you guys, and that's what I did. I was in Tampa for 5 years. I was in Hartford, Connecticut for 10 years. I was in Philadelphia for 20 years. And so I was all over the country calling sports, worked for 2 networks, calling games, around the country and around the world. So I was busy and happy in retirement. I retired, came back home to Texas. And about a year into retirement, I've always been very active with the alumni. So I was on the board of directors, and they asked me to take over the office, and that was supposed to last about 3 months, and it's been almost 2 years.
That's awesome. By the way, part of your broadcast, Philadelphia inducted them into their Hall of Fame, the Broadcast Hall of Fame. Beasley Reese, NBC, CBS, sideline reporter, obviously played with the Cowboys, Giants, and Buccaneers as well. La Vega, I was there on Monday, as you know, with so many things going on. Monday was the first day that high schools could have their student athletes back on campus for strength and conditioning. Willie Williams Stadium, they've had a great run, Beasley, as you know. Twice they've won a state title in the last 5 years, been to 3 state championships. How proud are you of the Pirates?
I could not be more proud of La Vega sports teams and their football team in particular. When I came home, people would say, "Oh, you're from Texas." Yeah, this is my home. Where'd you go to school? Man, when I say Waco, La Vega, it's like I just said most powerful, positive. It's like everybody gets scared. It's like, wow, you played for La Vega. Yep, I'm a La Vega Pirate. I'm part of that great history that they've put together. It was an awesome school for me. I had awesome classmates and friends and teammates, just a great high school experience. And La Vega remains an amazing institution.
Beasley, one of the things you did, you worked the 92 Summer Olympics, which to me is, I was 12. That's going to be my favorite Olympics of all time because of the dream team. What do you remember about Barcelona and that experience?
Well, first of all, when you say the dream team, I worked boxing. Mm-hmm. So we had our own commissary with American food, and we were right across the street from the basketball arena. So every day, that first dream team took their lunch break, walked across the street and got hamburgers and hot dogs and, traditional American food and ate with us. So it was unreal to be sitting there with Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, all of those great players at the table, everybody swapping stories. They're asking me about football. I'm asking them about, their experiences in the NBA. It was like a dream. It was the greatest assignment of my life. So I lived in Barcelona for a month, and working boxing, my superstar was Oscar de la Hoya.
Yeah, wow. Yep.
So, yeah. So before going, I did all kinds of stories and had a lot of packages in the can to run. I went to L.A. and met his family and trained with him. And, he was really interested in how pro football players train. So we just had awesome conversations. And Barcelona was an amazing city and just an awesome experience.
Yeah, that's got to be so. And unfortunately, because of COVID, there is no Olympic Games in Tokyo this year, and they've moved it back a year. And can you imagine how much was already planned for this summer in Tokyo, and then to have it completely postponed for the right reasons for 1 year?
Well, it is they prepare when at the end of an Olympics
they start
preparing for the next one.
Mm-hmm.
So the amount of work that went into that, the amount of money that was spent, building up the grounds and the stadiums and the arenas and the courts and everything that has to be perfect to showcase your country is, listen, it's amazing the effort that goes into it. So, I'm saddened by it because there are athletes who peaked for these games, and then now they're going to be delayed for a year. And there are some athletes who won't be at their peak. And then, but even to me, more important than that, is the high school kids that missed their senior seasons and the graduation experience that we all remember. It's just so difficult to see kids go through that and to miss out at a time like this.
What's it like being a sports anchor in the Philadelphia sports market, which has got fans who are energetic, to put it in a nice way?
Well put. Well, if you're the sports director, it's awesome. So, I'm a golfer. I can call any golf in Philadelphia, and they are the greatest golf courses in the world. Yeah. No disrespect to the great courses we have here in Texas, but we're talking about Marion and Aronimink and Pine Valley. Annually the number one, not Augusta, Pine Valley is the number one golf course in the world. I can pick up the phone and say, hey, it's Beasley. Oh, Beasley, come on. And I mean, it was unbelievable. I don't think I paid for anything for 20 years because they love their sports. And listen, being a former, New York Giant, Dallas Cowboy, I didn't even mention the Cowboys. I played like I didn't play in Dallas because, boy, they hate the Cowboys. Philadelphia fans, if they know that you wore that uniform or you're from the town, trust me, you're not safe. I don't care if you're never played a sport in your life. You say, I'm from Dallas, and you're visiting Philly. Boy, you better get ready.
Yep.
Because they are going to pound you with how they feel about the Dallas Cowboys, which is nothing but a compliment to the Cowboys because the Cowboys over the years historically owned that division and certainly beat up on the Eagles a lot.
No, they surely did. Now you I had this on SicEm365.com, which is the website of which we also come from, SicEm365 Radio. This is from one of the members. I had the great privilege of getting to know Beasley pretty well through my job a few years ago, even though he lived and lives in New York. Amazing mother and father. His sister was a class act as well. Yes, he's a famous and all, but I just love the man on his merits as a human being. I will be listening. That's from Pitchman on SicEm365.com.
Oh, man, listen, that's you guys are going to make me emotional. That is so great. When you're retired after that many years and that much time and that much effort trying to hone your craft, and people appreciate what you brought to a community. That's like medicine for the soul to hear that people remember and appreciate who you are.
It's great. He reached out. Well, I put the guest lineup up, Craig, usually about 7:30 or 8 the night before, and then tweeted out early in the afternoon. Beasley Reese, former La Vega, North Texas State back then, and a part of the NFL, and now the CEO of the NFL alumni. With today's America, Beasley, How does the NFL alumni handle and also get involved in trying to make the changes and trying to educate America?
Well, we are saddened that we continue to see the same things happen over and over again. I mean, now that there's body cameras and everybody has a cell phone, the truth of what black men and women go through is coming out. So, I'm lucky that I had the classmates and the teachers and the teammates that I had at La Vega, but not everybody had it like that. And even as good as I had it growing up at La Vega, the parents, I was a part of that first class of integration. So, I'm a 7th, 8th grader going to class, 9th grader going to class through picket lines at times. So it was just, the effect that can have on a child. And then to see black men continue to be, to lose their lives and to continue to be, and that's not to mention the harassment. I'm in nice vehicles and dressed appropriately, and I get pulled over, and and then my name and reputation in the town saves me, but not all black men have that experience. So listen, I'm just saddened to see that this continues. It's got to stop, and I'm so proud of America. I'm proud of where we are and who we are and what we're doing. Because when you look at the protesters, in many cases, most of them are multiracial. It's just people standing up against injustice. There are awesome people of all races that say that enough is enough. And so I'm proud of the peaceful protesters. I am extremely, profoundly saddened by the people that take advantage of a tragedy and destroy property and businesses and looting. Nobody wants to see anything like that. That must stop as well. And because our right to peaceful protest is one of the basic fundamental differences between America and other countries. So we must protect that. We must protect our protesters and our right to protest. That is really what it means to be American, is that you have a voice and nobody can tell you not to complain publicly about government or any other issue. So that's one of the beauties of being an American. But we're going to get this right. We always do. This particular topic, we are so far behind that it's embarrassing, but we will get it right because we are Americans.
You are a part of the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, Beasley Reese, La Vega, North Texas State, now a part of the NFL alumni as the CEO. You also are you a classic pianist or are you an avid pianist?
Well, in high school and, competed and played classically in recitals, competitions, and went to North Texas and thought I could play the piano. And North Texas is renowned for its music school, and the talent that comes out of North Texas is world class and very impactful. So I quickly realized that I quickly realized that I better leave Bach and Beethoven alone and figure out Lionel Richie and Stevie Wonder. And plus, we said North Texas was such an amazing place, and everybody that went to that school knows exactly what I'm talking about. You could sit in the lobby of any dorm and hear some of the greatest pianists and singers and guitarists and just live music. It was just an awesome environment to go to school and to be around. So, I would sit in the lobby of Kerr Hall with a big, beautiful piano And I would start out with, some classical, Rachmaninoff or something like that, and watch the girls kind of slowly drift over to the guitarist who was, playing some popular music.
Yeah.
So I kind of had to quickly switch to, the top pop and soul and gospel artists of the day. And so that's kind of where I started making the switch. And now I play every day. Every morning I get up, make my coffee, sit on the piano, and just enjoy the peace, the relaxation that comes from playing an instrument. And I recommend it to everyone. And it's never too late. I don't care how old you are. If you've always wanted to play the guitar, play a piano, now you can go to YouTube and get great lessons for free. And it is just so much easier to learn now. And I'll tell you what, I don't know what I would do without it.
Man, I tell you what, if you listen to what we've said about Beasley Reese, all the things from La Vega, North Texas, NFL, and now the NFL alumni, broadcasting, Hall of Fame, pianist, Eagle Scout.
It's a renaissance
Yeah.
man.
No, you are.
Yeah.
Craig, you were going to say? Yeah. Man, next time you get into town, I'm serious, and I called you and to give you the heads up, our segment's coming up. But really, if you ever do get back down into town, I'd love to shake your hand, give you a hug, and say hi, if that's a possibility.
Oh, absolutely. Let's do that. I certainly will call you.
All right. Thank you, Beasley. Appreciate you. God bless what you're doing. Thank you for what you represent, and we'll talk to you hopefully soon.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for having me. God bless you guys.
That's Beasley Reese. He does everything. And guess what his birthday is? March 18th.
Ah, that's kind of our birthday.
Yes, that's kind of our
3 days after my birthday.
That's kind of like our Easter, isn't it?
That's the birth of this.
It's
even though it wasn't, but it was.
It's 3 days after my birthday, 2 days after we were fired.
Yes.
Because I had an indication. Looking back on it, I actually thought this at the time. At the old place, they would typically, when your birthday was coming up, get a cake and a card. Everybody would sign it. It's kind of funny towards the end because they had you signing birthday cards for people who never even introduced themselves but had been there for like 3 months, which was kind of strange for such a small building. But regardless of that, when I didn't get the birthday cake or the card like a couple of days before, since it fell on a Sunday, I was like, you know what? I was already kind of feeling this was on its way towards the end, and that was just kind of another final indication, which, as I've said many times, I was totally fine with.
It was Wednesday, March the 18th, right? That was the day. That was like our rebirth. We didn't know it at the time. We did.
Best thing that ever happened.
Yeah. Now, coming up, a couple of things. We're going to hear from Groesbeck head football coach Jerry Bomar, Paul? 4:45. At 5 o'clock today, Tevin Reese will join us in the next segment. At 5 o'clock today, it's Todd Berry from the American Football Coaches Association on what college football coaches and some of what they can do to plan for the upcoming season in late July. Then we're going to have Hal Wasson, the coach at Corsicana, as well.
I just wanted to say on Beasley Reese, I just sat back. That was one of those where you guys were asking great questions. He was delivering great answers, and I wasn't very familiar with Beasley, but my gosh, and just hearing him talk, you could tell he's got the voice for music and for TV and for whatever else, but just looking through his career and all he's accomplished, I mean, that Dream Team story, can you imagine just hanging out in the cafeteria and like, here's Bird, Magic, Jordan, all these guys.
I'll have a chili dog, thanks.
Yeah, but you know what? Be cool if he does come through Waco and we'll be able to stop by wherever we are at the time and get to shake his hand and meet him because, man, what a career and what a good dude.
I don't remember him as a player because he retired in 1983 and I was only 3 years old, but I very much remember him as a sideline reporter.
Absolutely. But to have the story about Barcelona that you brought up, Paul, you didn't even know that story, but bringing it up and then played with the Cowboys, the Giants, and Buccaneers. He's the CEO of NFL Alumni. And as he said, he just came back there to kind of run it for 2 or 3 months, and the next thing you know, he has not left for a couple of years.
And Paul, sending that out, I would definitely tag, La Vega ISD. I mean, you know how to do that all.
Remember?
Yeah, you know how to do all that already. But that would be an interview. Deontay as well. Sorry, man. That would be a great interview for I think the La Vega community to listen to. Very proud of him.
I will send that to Willie Williams, Don Hyde. I saw them on Monday. One of the other things in the Riverbend Liquor and Wine hotline. Matt in D.C. Great interview with Beasley. Go Modocs.
Yeah.
Matt in D.C. Thanks for the time. When we come back, Sweet Feet, right?
That's right.
Tevin Reese, we go from Beasley Reese, R-E-E-C-E, to Tevin Reese, R-E-E-S-E. Played high school football here, played college football at Baylor. He's next. He's an assistant coach at Waco High on SicEm365 Radio. So you have some bumps and bruises. You go to the doctor to get it looked at, but there's maybe more than that. Just it's more severe than just a bump and a bruise. Something might be broken. Something might be torn. Something might be detached. Something might be bad. It hurts. So what do? You have a doctor. What is the doctor going to do? They're going to do an x-ray, and they're going to want to do an MRI. And an MRI experience can sometimes, I'm not going to say be traumatizing, but for someone like me who does have issues when it comes to claustrophobic, it can be a little bit of it can be dicey. I don't know how many times I've done an MRI. I want to say 10 or 12 of them for shoulders and legs, whatever else. One time I did get a little bit spooked by it, and I had to kind of just, okay, bring me back out, because it's almost as if you're going into a tomb, right? It can be a little bit frightening. I went to Ideal MRI. It's been now over a month. Dr. Rob Maxey set it up for me. I went to Ideal MRI in the Central Texas Marketplace in Waco, and the experience was perfect. I never felt like, can I do this today? Can I do this today? And I'm not joking about being somewhat claustrophobic. Ideal MRI was state-of-the-art technology, the MRI machine just like you have at any healthcare system or hospital. And, of course, the staff, the techs, the specialists, they are all just fantastic. State-of-the-art technology, and also, how about this, helping you save thousands of dollars, in some cases thousands of dollars on an MRI. You can ask your doctor, whatever hospital it might be, orthopedic surgeon or whatever, about Ideal MRI, and they will say, yes, that is a fantastic opportunity for you. They accept most insurance, no hidden cost. IdealMRI.com in the Central Texas Marketplace in Waco, and also other locations as well. Ask your doctor about Ideal MRI, and you can schedule an appointment even online at IdealMRI.com. 833-IDEAL-MRI if you want to call them, or IdealMRI.com.
This is Waco, and this is Boozer's Jewelers. When locals want luxurious jewelry and at a competitive price, they come here. This is Brad Boozer. He's the owner of Boozer's Jewelers. Boozer's is the premier wedding ring store. They specialize in loose diamonds and wedding rings. At Boozer's, they have 7 jewelry counters dedicated to wedding rings and diamonds only. They also specialize in heirloom jewelry, custom jewelry, watches, and much, much more. So what are you waiting for? Stop on in today and discover why the locals trust Boozer's for their jewelry.
You want to know why Stonewood Dental is so successful? Listen to what happy customers have to say.
It's pleasant. It's different than any other dentist's office. I really feel like they care. And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. Staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. You feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com. One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Ben Erlinson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Ben Erlinson, 100 North 6th Street in Waco, 254-759-8533. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Texas board-certified personal injury trial lawyer and Baylor alum David Willis and Baylor alum Parker Willis are ready to help if you or a loved one has been wrongfully injured in an auto accident, SUV rollover, industrial accident, 18-wheeler crash, or were seriously injured by a defective product or recall drug. Call them for a confidential and free case consultation at 1-800-GOT-HURT or visit them at texastriallawyer.com. Principal office located in Houston, Texas.
Ideal MRI is a small family business right here in Central Texas. We are open to support our community through this crisis. When you need an MRI, ask your doctor for an Ideal MRI. Visit us at idealmri.com or call us at 833-IDEAL-MRI.
This is SicEm 365 Radio. Text us at 254-339-1122. The SicEm 365 Radio text line is sponsored by Riverbend Liquor and Wine, with the most extensive variety of craft beer in Waco. A hidden gem on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street.
From Beasley Reese, La Vega native, alum, North Texas, part of the NFL alumni, to Sweet Feet, Tevin Reese, now part of the Waco High football staff. Of course, a phenomenal, dynamic player for Baylor when they were winning Big 12 titles. He was a part of that launch to what the success they had, and he joins us on SicEm 365 Radio. He just spells it R-E-E-C-E, and, of course, yours is S-E. How are you doing, Tevin?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm going to bring this up because I saw a tweet from you. I know you're on the Waco High staff and you want to get into coaching. You're in coaching. But you mentioned something about you want to be a coordinator in your PowerPoint presentation. Explain all that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love my position at Waco High. I mean, I'm the head track coach there, and I'm over the receivers, and I handle a lot of special teams. So, I mean, I'm happy where I'm at. But, I mean, my long-term goal is to be an offense coordinator and be a control of my own offense and things like that. So during this pandemic, I mean, I just always jot down plays and take a little bit and here and there from, Coach Browse and the teams that I played for. So I just try to create my own little playbook. And I just decided, just put it somewhere where it all just be on one little area. So instead of having a lot of pieces of paper with drawings and stuff on it. So I just put a lot of plays on the PowerPoint, just created shapes and drawings and stuff like that. It was a lot of time, but I just got it all on one little PowerPoint. Kind of for me, and just I don't know, it was just something to keep me occupied during the time without sports.
How much of it is stuff you did at Baylor? How much of it is other stuff you've put along the way that becomes the Tevin Reese offense that's kind of melded together?
I mean, a lot of it, honestly, is based off of what we did at Baylor. It'll be that type of high-paced type of offense. But I honestly started taking a little bit from when I played with the Chargers, kind of took some of their plays. And when I played with the Bengals, took some of their plays. And, I played in the wing T when I was in high school. So did a lot of run blocking and stuff like that. So I just kind of always took plays from the teams and stuff that I played for and just kind of try to find my own type of offense and create that.
Tevin, when did coaching get on your radar as a possibility? Was that something that you always thought you would do? And who kind of influenced you and made you say, you know what, I think I want to be a coach?
I think it's always kind of sat in the back of my mind. I mean, one of my first jobs was at the youth club in Temple. So, and I always was doing the powder puff coaching when I got to high school. Then when I got to college, I was actually an intramurals coach for sorority. So I just kind of always was coaching. And I remember one time we was watching film, and I was in film room with Kendall Browse, which was my receiver coach. And I was just talking about the plays that the defenses that could stop our plays. And he was like, hey, Tevin, I'm just going to stop. Your job is kind of to find a way to make our plays work, not to make them how to stop them. He's like, you probably need to get into coaching after when it's all said and done. And I was like, you know what, Coach, I kind of think I was thinking about that anyway.
Temple High School, Baylor University, played in the NFL, now at Waco High. Tevin, when you guys were rolling, when that offense had the defense not knowing what in the hell was next other than they did know, it was pound the ball between the tackles. It was throw the deep fade. It was the things here. What was it like knowing that the defense was just exhausted mentally and physically?
You know, like if you ask your parents for a Christmas present, probably for a couple of years, and it just hasn't came, and one of those years they keep asking you, you know, what color did you want and what size shoe you wear or something like that, and you kind of like, I know what I'm getting for Christmas, and you finally open it up, and that feeling that you get, that you see that present, that was kind of the feeling that we had when we was rolling. It was like, man, I just can't wait for this next play because I know it's coming. I know they don't know it's coming. It's just fun. Everybody's smiling. It was just a great feeling, like just opening up your favorite present on Christmas just every time when you're out there. Like it really didn't matter who had the ball. It was just so fun, and it just gave you a different feeling being out there around all those guys.
How hard was it, especially for you, when you could see that they're not going to put a safety over the top on me? And I mean, I would think to keep your poker face would be really tough, because if I were you, I'd be going, oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, it was fun. I mean, you kind of look at it and you just kind of make eye contact with the quarterback. One of those, like you said, poker face, just look at the quarterback, kind of give him a nonchalant look. And on the snap of the ball, it's like, oh, I got you now. And then it's too late. There's nothing you can do. It's just balls in the air. And next thing you know, the band is playing. So, like you said, it was kind of hard to keep that poker face and not just start jumping up and down and screaming, hey, I'm open. I'm about to be open. Throw me the ball. But, I mean, that was times you just practice that and you just kind of game plan for those looks. And when you see it, you just like, yep, this is what we practice for. So it was just fun all the way around.
Tevin, there are so many games that we could talk about that you were a part of, but I'm bringing this one up only because we randomly started talking about this a little bit earlier. What do you remember about the ULM game at their place that was a little bit dicey? You had a huge night, 8 catches, 145 yards, and 2 touchdowns. You guys were able to hold on, but what do you remember about that ULM game?
I mean, one thing that popped out, I think we was warming up in Duck Dynasty, the guys from Duck Dynasty came. They maybe landed on the field or something like that, but, like, I was warming up, and I went inside, and they were like, did you see that? I was like, what are you talking about? They were like, it's a helicopter, I think, about to land on the field or somebody or something. And I was like, oh, really? And it was the Duck Dynasty guys. I was like, oh. Yeah, so I think that was one of the biggest things I remember from that. It was they came in on a helicopter or something, or it was rumored they did, but that was one of the biggest talks of the town.
You mentioned practicing and all the stuff that you did. You knew the plays that were going to work. It was obvious the offense was so explosive. How many times did you line up and know, oh, this is easy?
This is 6.
This is it. I mean, they're just sitting there. They're dead. Speaking of Duck Dynasty, they're dead ducks.
Yeah, I mean, it was like with Coach Browse and the way we just practiced every play. It was like every play to pop. But when you it's like when you have the defense on their toes, they're kind of running around and you see the defense pointing at each other and they switching spots and they calling out who's covering who. It's kind of like, oh yeah, here it comes, and it's about to be a big game. And if you just see, like, I know when I played with Lake, when Lake started dancing a little bit, you're like, oh, coach, give him the ball. You know, it's about to be one of those plays. So, like I said, it was just one of those feelings when you just practice over and over. And Coach Browse and his staff did a great job of getting us prepared. I mean, every week, we played crowd music. We just practiced the same plays over and over till they were just like muscle memory. So when we saw that look, we'll just look at the sideline and coach already tell us what play to run. We already knew what play to run. So it was just repetition. And like I said, the coaching staff did a great job of getting us prepared.
Tevin Reese with us on SicEm365 Radio. Craig, Paul, anything else?
Tevin, how much do you still follow Baylor football, if at all? It kind of varies. We talked to Glasgow a couple of weeks ago, and he said that after his career wrapped up, he was kind of done with football. He was kind of down on it, so he didn't really pay close attention there for a couple years. And there's obviously a lot of other stuff that was swirling and going on. But do you still keep up with the program at all?
I keep up, but I'm not heavily involved like I used to be. I mean, after that whole incident went down, it was kind of hard for me because Coach Brown he gave me the name that I have now, kind of helped me get this. So it was kind of hard for me to see that. So I kind of kept my distance for a little bit, but I started going back around, and I've been going to the Baylor games for the past 2 years now and stuff like that. So, I mean, I'm trying to get more and more involved, but it was a little time where I kind of distanced myself a little bit. But I'm always going to be a Baylor Bear at heart. You know, they did a lot of things for me, so I'm always going to love Baylor.
Something you did mention earlier, I want to go back to Temple. You and Lake were in were you in the wing tee at the same time? You and Lake
Yes,
Seastrong?
sir.
That seems to be not the right offense for the two of you. I'm just going to throw that out there.
No, so I think it worked out best for Lake.
Yeah.
It was three running backs, and I played split. I would say split tight end. That's what they called it. I was more than 50% hand in the dirt next to the left tackle and cut blocking. But I think it helped me a lot to grow into the receiver I was because it humbled me a lot. I was a little hot here. I guess growing up, thought I was a lot of stuff, but it kind of humbled me. I only got 6 passes my junior year, and it kind of went up my senior year. But playing with Lake, it was fun. I mean, Lake was one of the top running backs in the state, and that's kind of what lessened the blow of me having my hand in the dirt a lot because I knew if I got that cut block, I'll be laying on the ground seeing Lake walking to the end zone. So it wasn't too bad, but yeah, it was kind of weird. I was 130 pounds with my hand in the dirt at tight end.
Hey, and that's still impressive, though, Tevin, man. I mean, that you're going to go do that. Sometimes,
a lot of my highlight videos go from the 3-point stand.
Yeah, some of those guys, though, like, you know, you see, man, this little guy that's on the end of the line, you're kind of the pain in the butt because, you know, if you go, you know, sometimes blocking's not about size, it's just about leverage. If you have it, you got it.
Yeah, that's what my coach taught me. I had Coach Compton. He was my coach when we first started there, and he kind of moved on. But he kind of told me it's all about leverage. I mean, I'd have to cut for like DNs, and it was just get them before they saw me. So on the snap of the ball, just kind of harp and get them in linebackers. And I kind of like the position because when I'm on a line of scrimmage, you know, you could go out and kind of cut anywhere. So I'll just come off the ball and see a linebacker coming at me, and I'll cut them down instead of trying to go blow for blow for him. That wasn't going to work out for me. So,
Tevin, I know this is a loaded question, probably be a hard question to answer because you are part of so many great Baylor memories, the first Big 12 championship, RG3's Heisman run, bowl wins, all that kind of stuff. But do you have a favorite memory that comes to mind that's kind of top of mind?
Oh, I would. I mean, like you said, I've been a part of so many. I mean,
Right.
I think my favorite one personally is when I played against West Virginia. But I mean, we had a lot like the first time we beat Oklahoma. I mean, that was at Waco. That was one of the best feelings. I've screamed so much I caught a full body cramp. And I mean, that was just one of the best feelings. In my freshman year when we went up and beat Texas, I mean, playing in front of that crowd and going up there and showing them up in their home field, that was amazing as well. Then when we won in overtime against Kansas, at Kansas to become bowl eligible, I mean, that was huge too. But I mean, it was just so many. But personally, I think it would just be probably mine. Hard. I would say that Houdini catch, as people would say.
You had an 80-yard touchdown. You had a touchdown pass from Petty. I'm looking at the video right now. You juggled it and kind of tipped it to yourself. That was the game in which the defensive coordinator following that game said that it was catastrophic for West Virginia, that it was catastrophic because you guys did 73-42, I think the score was. But it was not even that close. That it was absolutely catastrophic, and everything you guys did went well.
Well, you guys laid the foundation, Tevin, no doubt about that. And you know, you said you've been following for the last couple of years. It's kind of weird to see Baylor winning with defense versus what you guys were doing. But you guys, you know, last year's run wouldn't be possible without what you guys did. So that's got to feel pretty good.
Oh yes, sir, it does. And kind of remind myself that to give my little self pat on the back when I'm feeling down sometimes. But it's a great feeling.
And I know you got to go. And good luck with this year. I know you guys are in a district from hell with Waco High and Midway moving north. It's like, hey.
Oh man, hey, we ready for it though. That's the thing. Our kids are. I mean, they've been through so much, and our kids are just ready for anything right now. They've been coming to workouts, ready to work, and I mean, I'm just ready to see what they're gonna do. This is like one of the It's a different team. I'm just gonna say that
Good.
it's a different team this year.
Good.
Yeah. And
That's good. That's great to hear.
And it would be remiss to not mention that Tevin and you and I used to be neighbors on Wood Avenue and Woodrow, my dog that I still have. We were neighbors. We were the same duplex.
Oh yes, sir. We had a little boxer.
Yeah.
Hey, man, great to hear from you. Fantastic you do. Keep working with those young men. They need your guidance, and as all of us did when we were growing up. Congratulations.
Yes,
good luck to you and Kwame and Waco High, and great memories along the way. Thanks for your time, Tevin.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Waco High assistant football coach, former Baylor. I mean, he was as good at that. You know, you had the Katie Cannons, you had the others, but when it came to just boom, poof, like I got out of a BB gun.
Think about this. Of all the speed that they had during the Browse years, and you can say right now as well, because Matt Rule compiled some pretty good speed, too, but especially during the Browse years. He's arguably the fastest guy, right? Or he's up there. Who would you say is the fastest?
I don't know. I should have asked him who would have won the 100 or 40 or whatever.
I would like to see
Lake.
He and Katie Cannon and Lake just straight up go.
Yeah.
And there's probably some right now Kalen Barnes, but of that era, those three guys. And Tevin was, at first when you saw him, because even now he's not a guy, he carried his muscle well, but he wasn't ever going to be intimidating size-wise.
Coach Browse taught Baylor how to win.
Mm-hmm.
He laid the foundation for what they did in Carlson, but the Matt Rule then laid the foundation for football as well following that. But Browse helped Baylor go from the doldrums, even with the dark clouds of 2015 and 16 and what happened. My God, he taught them how to win and have a swagger.
He showed that Baylor in today's college football could be a force to be reckoned with, and somebody that teams didn't want to see on their schedule coming up because they knew it was going to be a dangerous game for them. He laid that foundation and gave them that oomph, that officialness amongst the college football hierarchy. And then what Matt Rule came in and did, as I think he just further established that and proved like, hey, that wasn't just a one coach thing or a couple coach thing. That's it can happen here, and we can do it a completely different way than it was done previously. Yep. So, the credit goes all the way around. But I did not want to ask Tevin this, and maybe if we talk to him again down the line, we could. But his final game was that UCF bowl game. And I wasn't going to bring the mood down, but you know how that week was. We were all in Arizona that week, and it was weird. And it was probably the biggest, tweet that I ever put out before, stuff later. But it was when I got the quote from Browse on the Texas job that week.
Yep.
Because nobody else wanted to ask. They were too scared, I guess. And, that was just a total debacle in and of itself, and definitely a distraction, I would have to imagine. But we'll ask him about that another time.
They enjoyed Phoenix.
Yeah, they did.
Everybody enjoyed Phoenix, top to bottom. The whole organization did. But for I remember talking about that before you went, and he said, if nobody asked, you got to do it, and if not, ask first, because it was silly. The elephant in the room wasn't even the right terminology. It was, there were 30 elephants in the room, and nobody was like, oh, that's fine.
Well, what I remember very vividly about that is it was a bit of a drive. It was like a 20 or 25-minute drive away from the team hotel where we were broadcasting from. And we got out there, and you could tell there was like sometimes with Browse, you could tell if he was in a bad mood or a good mood. There's like a little bit of an extra edge. He always had edge, but there was like a little extra edginess to that. And everybody knew what the question was to ask. Like, everybody knew. So what I did, and I was just my first year here, was I kind of let the regular questions, kind of go. And then I just remember looking at Heath Nielsen because he would wrap it up. And when he would wrap it up, it was like wrapped up. So I just was trying to make sure that I didn't wait too long. And thankfully, I kind of had that hunch, like I better ask now, and did. And, the rest is history.
Yep, and he denied it.
Brian Davis flew out to Phoenix. That was bragging about Browse was taking the Texas job.
Hell of a team, but that week they blew a tire against Central Florida. Now, when we come back, Jerry Bomar back at Groesbeck in year 2 from coming back when they won a state title back, almost 30 years ago. He'll join us next on SicEm365 Radio. Petty Clinic Low T. Dr. Ken Petty and his staff can help you become a more high-performance man. can help you feel better about yourself, better energy, better sex drive, just feel better and not so lethargic. And here's how. Call them up or go online, pettycliniclowt.com, and maybe you feel okay. You say, I'm 30-something, or I'm young. I don't need to worry about testosterone levels. Well, what the bottom line is, they're going to get a blood work. They're going to give you a discounted rate for your blood work. Dr. Petty's going to look at your blood level as far as your testosterone levels and a few other things as well. And if your testosterone levels are too low for who you are, your age, whatever, he can put you in a program to increase your testosterone levels so you can be a man, a high-performance man that you want to be. Increased energy, increased sex drive, increased stamina, the full meal deal. But you got to go on pettycliniclowt.com or go by their office just off of Access Road on 84 on Old Hewitt Road. pettycliniclowt.com.
Ram, a legend of loyalty. Alan Samuels, legendary customer loyalty. Now bringing you special Ram pricing to kick off summer. Pick the perfect Ram 1500 regular cab with special incentives, including $500 additional first responder bonus cash. Now just $22,990. Or pick up a loaded up new Ram 2500 HD Limited 4x4. The Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Now with up to $12,000 in savings. Drive forward. Ram from Alan Samuels.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs, even offering financing if that's needed. Everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, hot still, baby blue, French oak, rye, and brimstone. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
Do you or your kids get nervous about going to the dentist? Stonewood Dental, Dr. Steve Childress, he can help.
I've spent a career taking care of patients who as children had bad experiences, and now they're adults that hate going to the dentist. If I get a kid at 3 years old and they come every 6 months and it's a happy experience, it's normal for them. Now they have an accident at 6 or 7 or 8 at school. Now they have a broken tooth or a trauma, and they have to come here. They're used to lights, they're used to water in their mouth, they're used to experience, they already trust us. It's amazing what we can do with that kid without it being a negative thing. But if I see a 6 or 7 or 8 year old that's never been to the dentist, and now they have a trauma or an unfortunate unexpected toothache, it's harder to do that for that kid and it not be somewhat of a negative experience. So bottom line is I try to teach kids and adults and teenagers and everybody the way I'd want my family treated, which is where it's a necessary part of life. You just take care of it. It doesn't have to be that big a deal.
Learn more. Stonewood-dental.com.
This is SicEm365 Radio. The SicEm365 Radio Live Guest VIP Hotline is sponsored by Stonewood Dental. We are all in this together.
Jerry Bomar and Hal Wasson will be our guest talking high school football with us. Jerry Bomar now. We'll have Hal Wasson at around 5:20 today, who's now at Corsicana. Jerry Bomar back as we mentioned a year ago, back where he won a state championship with Groesbeck back in 1991 and trying to get the program, the Goats, back to where the standard is set. How has this challenged you, Jerry, as far as not having anything until this week for like about 2.5, 3 months?
It's been very difficult because just what you mentioned, we're trying to rebuild this program to a standard that we want to be at. And I will tell you, a program like ours, who didn't have an off season when I came in, needed the off season, and we were making tremendous strides mentally and physically. And I was really happy where we were, especially in our weight workouts in our off season program. And then right about the time we were really starting to get into the football side of it with the weight workouts, and our kids were very excited about that, then it all shut down. So, some programs that's been winning a lot and they've been successful, they may have a little advantage there mentally. But with a program like ours that needed to be rebuilt, it was a big blow. But being able to come back this week has been a tremendous asset for us.
Coach, Groesbeck has good roots when it comes to football. You know, because you were there and helped set those roots. What do you think is the key? Is it consistency? Because really, I've been here in Central Texas for 15 years, and having to change coaches every 2 or 3 years seems to have really affected them. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, Paul. That's it right there. Consistency and continuity. You got to have a head football coach and AD stay more than 2 years, 2.5. I think the last 4 or 5 AD head coaches have been average 2.5 years. We've had some problems here. They have with some other sport coaches coming in and not staying. So for whatever reason, it's hard to believe. Sometimes, things happen and it's not all that bad in the community. I mean, or blaming the community or the school. Things happen in this business, but it has to start there, and you hit the nail on the head for us. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. We've got good coaches here. Got to get them all to stay here for a while, build that continuity, build the consistency, because then it becomes an attitude that trickles down all the way through our school, and that's the one thing we're trying to work on.
So is that step one, Coach? I mean, I was going to ask you kind of where do you begin? Where do you begin as a coach taking over a program? Is that the first step?
Well, the first step is when you come in, you got to see exactly where the culture lies. Now, the culture is a good word that everybody likes to use, but in high school football, cultures go year to year sometimes. Now, you can build a culture if you stay somewhere a long time, and you're consistently there. So your culture and your attitude and all that in the program is going to be simple and consistent, and your kids are going to be playing at a consistent level. But when you go up, down, hi, I'm Coach so-and-so. Oh, he's gone now. Hi, I'm this. Oh, he's gone now. Well, the kids are just kind of rolling with the flow, and they don't know what to think. And the discipline and the toughness that requires to compete at this level in this state didn't evaporate. And that's what's happened here, and that's what we're trying to get back.
You mentioned you want to try to go to players being able to play offense and or defense. That allows you to be obviously more fresh, but also does that allow you to create depth for earlier underclassmen, the classes underneath the varsity, underneath the senior class?
Yeah, you know, exactly. We'd like the 2 platoon if we could, and I know a lot of people think that's not possible when you get into the 3A Division I program, but, I really don't believe that, and I've been doing it in my whole career, but, we will make exceptions. So we're trying to develop the depth. You're exactly right. We need numbers. Now, our numbers are going up, so we're headed in the right direction there. And the more numbers we get, then the more consistency and the more kids that we're going to be able to get on the field and train will help us be able to compete better.
Won a state title in 91, beat Burnett. I also, the same year you won a state title at Groesbeck, a former program of yours, Killeen, won that emotional title when they had the tragedy outside of Fort Hood. Did you even think that at the time?
Well, I remember that because we lived down here, but we watched the news, and that was a horrendous thing. But what was interesting about that is that I wound up going to Killeen the next year as the head coach.
Right.
And we used to, so when we got there, we used to eat our pregame meals at Luby's Cafeteria.
Wow.
Now, you talk about some heavy things, feelings and just really emotional things, because they had rebuilt the Luby's Cafeteria. And that was tough, and that was a very, very tough thing for those people. There were great people there. They were very strong. But it puts things in perspective pretty fast.
No, I bet. That's a great note. I did not know it was right after that. I know you've been in Atlanta. You've been in Beeville. You've bounced around. You said this is it for you. This is home, right? This is where Jerry Bomar wants to close out his lengthy and also successful career?
Yeah, that's why I'm here. I mean, I was in Beeville, good situation. I had a really good team coming back, but, I didn't want to stay there for a long time, and in this business, you want to get in an environment that's good to live in and good to work in, and that's hard to do in high school sports on a consistent basis. And so this place has always been a soft spot in my heart. It's always been kind of like my home, and so I had great friends here. And so when this came open, my wife and I decided that this is what we wanted to do, and we made that commitment. She's come in. She's the high school principal. She's done a tremendous job. They've had the same problem here at the high school principal. They had 4 in 4 years. And I know it doesn't sound good, but, she's here. She's wanting to be here and stay. And I'm here, so we're not going anywhere. So we're going to build this thing from the ground floor and get this thing the way we know it takes or what it takes to be successful. And I think it's going to make things a lot more stable.
Jerry, thanks for your time. We appreciate it. Last year in a district with a state champion in Grandview, and, of course, Whitney had a phenomenal year with what they did as well. Good luck this year. Thanks for your time, and I know you're glad just to be back on the field with the kids. Go ahead, Craig.
Well, we are, but don't ever count us out. We're going to be one of the most improved teams this coming year.
Wouldn't surprise me at all. Jerry Bomar, head coach at Groesbeck, with us on SicEm365.
I got one breaking news note. I also want to mention on Luby's, and that was just a horrific thing that happened back in the 90s in Killeen. But that's actually a business that's going to be closing down. We were talking about that earlier. They're preparing to sell. They're open right now, but it looks like Luby's is going to be one of the next known businesses that's going to go to the wayside. So I've seen that a couple of days ago. But breaking news out of baseball. Rob Manfred just guaranteed there will be baseball this year. 100%, he says. And according to John Heyman, has been noted, there's no agreement with players. Manfred has the right to mandate players return to field as long as they receive prorated pay. So get ready, boys.
Wow.
All right.
Well, good luck, Rob Manfred, on the I guarantee things.
100%, he says.
When we come back, he's the executive director of the American Football Coaches Association, located, of course, right off of I-35, right next to the Baylor campus in the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, on the Football Oversight Committee, and a 6-week practice plan for college programs. Next, Todd Berry on SicEm365 Radio.
Texas board-certified personal injury trial lawyer and Baylor alum David Willis and Baylor alum Parker Willis are ready to help if you or a loved one has been wrongfully injured in an auto accident, SUV rollover, industrial accident, 18-wheeler crash, or were seriously injured by a defective product or recall drug. Call them for a confidential and free case consultation at 1-800-GOT-HURT or visit them at texastriallawyer.com. Principal office located in Houston, Texas.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries, celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas. Our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Trust the doctors that Baylor trusts. Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
So it's time for us to have a talk because obviously your buddies aren't telling you and neither is your woman. You've been driving that truck around exposing your stuff. It's not only embarrassing, it's disgusting. I'm talking about full frontal truck nudity, and it's time for you to do something about it with a grill guard or a front-end replacement bumper from Pickup Outfitters. There are lots of good reasons to get a grill guard, like when Bambi decides to cross the road at the same time you're occupying it. But the best reason is that no one wants to see your junk up in your grill. Pickup Outfitters on Lake Erie Drive carries all the major brands of grill guards, including Ranch Hand, Cattleman, and even the Renegade brand made right here in Waco. And every grill guard we sell comes with our lifetime installation guarantee and no-worry warranty program. Won't you help us end truck nudity? Pickup Outfitters, 220 Lake Erie Drive in Waco. Check out our grill guards on our website at createacommotion.com/guards. createacommotion.com/guards.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of health care while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of health care has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs, even offering financing if that's needed. Everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
This is SicEm 365 Radio.
Complete to Jefferson. First down on his way, and that might be the knockout punch.
The 5 o'clock hour, sponsored by Edward Jones Investments, with financial advisor Tom Albers, staying in touch with you and your money through these difficult and changing times. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Here's David Smoke, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoke.
Corsicana head coach Hal Wasson will join us at around 5:20. John Machota Cowboys from The Athletic at 5:35. We're now joined by Todd Berry, Executive Director of the American Football Coaches Association, and right there on the campus, right on the edge of the campus at Baylor off of I-35. Todd, thank you very much. I know you've been having a busy day. The news that has come out, the reports about the Football Oversight Committee, have you tried to kind of build in a way almost an NFL mini camp mentality leading up to August and the season?
You know, some have suggested that, and I appreciate the opportunity to be on, quite honestly. I was a little bit shocked. I don't believe that model that's been sent out, well, I know the model is not accurate because I'm a part of oversight. That decision won't be made until tomorrow. There's parts of it that are accurate, and to kind of answer your question, I think that we are at a situation now where there's no question that we can do our normal preseason in terms of the 4 weeks. But obviously with these players being off this amount of time and wanting to see some ramp up, there was optimally this opportunity to increase what we've called an enhanced summer version. And so this year we're adding 2 weeks onto it. The 2 weeks that are out there would allow for some walkthroughs, not OTAs or any of those other kind of things. It's not an NFL model for sure, but a little bit of meeting time just to allow the players to kind of get back into thoughts of playing the game, and a little bit more opportunity for our coaches to actually evaluate conditioning during that time frame. These are good athletes. They take pride in being an athlete, and so we know the majority of them are going to be back in shape, but this gives us a couple weeks before we actually start our normal preseason to be able to really evaluate their condition and start kind of getting them ready for the season.
How difficult was it for you early on especially when it looked like there's going to be, a chunk of the country that was going to jump back into it and then a chunk of the country that wasn't going to for any reason, particularly the West Coast looked for a little bit like they weren't going to open things up for a while, and you're going to have to navigate coaches on every side of that spectrum?
Yeah, certainly this has been difficult on everybody, and it's been a very, very fluid situation. Who would have thought really a month ago, quite honestly, I wouldn't have believed it, that we were going to be kind of discussing this 6-week model with all the teams already being back, and it looks like the majority of them are going to be back at that point in time. It is going to be an interesting season. There's no question about it, but I do believe we'll start on time, and I do think we'll see some bumps in the road along the way, and some of those, we'll probably have some interrupted seasons because when you start talking about number of universities that we have that are out there playing football, along with the number of student athletes that we have engaged, there are going to be some bumps in the road, and I'm sure there's going to be some games missed. And so even though we're going to get kicked off, there's still going to be an awful lot of things that are going to need to be discussed as the season progresses in relation to playoffs and bowl eligibility and all those other kinds of things that have traditionally been based off of a one-loss record.
Todd, it goes without saying this is uncharted territory for everyone. What's kind of the general sentiment you've received from coaches? It was dark days, a month or two ago, and now it's a little more positive. But as you said, there's so many other variables going on. But what's the general sentiment you've received from coaches just as far as how these last couple of months have gone?
Yeah, no, I think they're obviously excited. I think they're excited for their players. I mean, these young people don't have an awful lot of time to be able to play this great game, and so consequently, we want to try to maximize those opportunities for them this year. And I think right now our coaches, they don't seem to be too upset with kind of the mitigation from the spring or, is somebody going to have a little bit more time than I do in the summer. I think their biggest concern right now is just trying to do everything that we can based off of what we currently know, and that evolves every week in relation to what we know about the virus. But what can I do that's going to keep my players safe, my coaches and support staff safe, and again, make sure that as the season goes on that we don't have those bumps in the road. But I think they're much more concerned about, what can I do along those lines at this point in time and kind of getting prepared for that than they are about any of the other things that I think have been out there and discussed broadly.
You've coached a long time now, of course, a part of the AFCA, but you have been in the business. How difficult would it be if this was you and you were getting ready for a season?
Yeah, I've expressed this to the coaches. I'm glad I'm not coaching anymore. I mean, part of my job, I think I'm on like 17 different committees that's dealing with this, and I can't. And I want to congratulate all those groups, quite honestly, because the collaborative effort. I've been in this job for 4 years and have a lot of association with NCAA and NFL and commissioners and so on. And the way that everyone has worked to try to make sure that this season happens in a safe fashion has just been extraordinary. The topics of conversation that have even come up in the modeling process of what if, you just wouldn't even believe some of the what ifs that we've covered and actually modeled out there. So I'd like to kind of congratulate all those groups because I think there's been significant efforts and a very collaborative effort in trying to make sure that the season goes off. But in the same sense, to answer your question again, as a coach, you want to protect the people that are involved with you. You want to give them the best experience that you possibly can. And right now, with how fluid this thing is, sometimes there's just not a lot of ready answers. And as a coach, that's probably one of the more frustrating things because you're responsible for these young people and their health and safety, and you want concrete answers. Sometimes those are a little bit difficult to get at this point in time. And so I think patience right now is just kind of one of those things we have to kind of understand and deal with, recognizing that before we get to that moment, there'll be some guidance for us.
How much did you have to put some of the issues you'd normally be dealing with on the back burner right now to deal with all this? Has there been any conversation about, just pulling one out of the air, like the one-time transfer rule and all that?
Yeah, you would think that in light of all the other things that are kind of going on in our world right now, that the litigating attorneys would take a break on some of these other things that are contentious, and they have not. Those things are still going on. As a matter of fact, today alone, I went through, a meeting about some of the social unrest, to the next meeting that dealt with the pandemic, to the next meeting that dealt with name, image, and likeness, which is just a horrendous idea in our coaches' minds because of just, not that the student athletes don't deserve some things, but there needs to be continued progress there. But the way that this thing is moving, this is a professional model. There is no question about it. And I just don't know that that's what college athletics is about. And then obviously you add into that the potential for a one-time transfer, which based off the logic, why only give them one? They should get multiple ones based off the logic, like if they're going to utilize every student. So now you've got the name, image, and likeness that you can buy a player, and now you can just allow them to keep buying them off the other team the very next year. And if someone can show us the guardrails that can be put in place that are realistic then we as coaches we might be for that, because again we were all student athletes. It's not like we're against the student athlete. We're for the student athlete. The problem is that we're for the college experience more than anything else, in the academic college experience, and we think that that's going to get messed with significantly. And again, I'm on a bunch of committees dealing with those things right now, and no, we haven't taken any break on any of those. So we just keep plodding along.
Todd, on another note, Dave Aranda is taking over at Baylor for Matt Rule. He's not had the best start just simply because they couldn't have spring ball and everything else going on, but everybody's dealing with the same thing right now. But what has been your experiences, if any, with Dave Aranda, and what are your thoughts on him?
I think Dave's done an outstanding job, and quite honestly, I don't know him well, and I'm anxious to get to know him better. Our paths just really didn't cross at the time, but I can't imagine being a new head coach to where you're really excited about getting to know your players and wanting to evaluate and teach them some new things in relation to what your plans are, so that there's buy-in, and then all of a sudden have something like this hit, to where the first time that you actually get a chance to watch them play football is 25 days before you have to actually play. And it's not just a new group of freshmen, it's your whole team. And so I feel for him. I feel for all of our coaches out there that are in their first year, because it's going to be extremely difficult. I'm not saying he's not going to have tremendous success, because I believe that he will, but in the same sense too, everybody needs to understand that, what he's been dealt this year is a very, very difficult thing to do. And unless you're a coach, you probably don't even fully appreciate all the things that he's having to kind of go through right now. So my hat's off to him, and certainly if there's anything that we can do to assist, I'd like to do that, and wish him the best, as I do all of our new coaches that are really in a very, very frustrating time that, no other coaches out there had to deal with.
We just had Tevin Reese, former Baylor wide receiver, on the show about an hour ago. And we brought up, the first time I ever spoke with you, you were the head coach, obviously, at UL Monroe. They had the game. You had a home game against Baylor. I thought it might have even been on a Friday night. I can't remember. I mean, that place was stoked. And that game with, 7 minutes left? I'm not trying to bring up a bad memory, because it was a very proud.
You are.
Well, we just had him on, Todd. You'll never come on this show ever again. No, but how much do you remember? Because that game was dicey, all the way down to the very end.
Yeah, we beat a ranked Arkansas team, a number 8 Arkansas team, a couple weeks prior, and had taken Auburn into overtime. And so obviously then you got a tremendous Baylor team coming at home, and it was our first home game. And, our fans showed up, which quite honestly they traditionally didn't. But with kind of what had happened and what transpired, and obviously with Baylor coming in, it was a great atmosphere. Friday night ESPN game, actually, so it was on television. And so we had a chance to be in front of a national audience for really the first time that year. And, I think it was 45-42. I kind of felt like there for a little bit that the last one, I wanted to have the ball last, because it seemed like the last one that had the ball was going to win the game. And we were actually driving and fumbled the ball. Only mesh problem that we'd had since I'd been there for 3 years. And we had a mesh problem in relation to a handoff between quarterback and a running back, and dropped the ball, and they scored, and then we scored, and then they scored, and once again, they pulled it out. It was a tremendous game, great atmosphere.
Anything else, guys? Todd, thank you very much. I know you've been asked by a lot of people to be a part of the show to discuss everything going on with the NCAA and AFCA. We appreciate your time and hope to see you really very soon.
Absolutely. Anytime, Jim. I appreciate y'all.
Todd Berry, he was also, his coaching career, he was also a head coach at Army. They didn't have a lot of success, and that was when Army was struggling really up until about 3 or 4 years ago. That he turned the corner. Let's see. Oklahoma State GA. He was a wide receivers coach at Tulsa.
Who can Google faster?
No.
I'm going.
No, I got it right here in front of me.
No.
But no, at Army he was there. Yeah, okay. They didn't do much. That's really right before the new coach who's there. It turned the corner that finally, right at they couldn't beat Navy.
Todd Monken. Yeah.
Monken almost beat Oklahoma. He almost beat a lot of people.
Yeah,
Michigan didn't he?
Almost. Yeah, Michigan. When we come back, Hal Wasson won a state championship back in 2 years at South Lake Carroll. He's from Kearns, Texas. He's now the head coach at Corsicana. He's been there before, and he's kind of gotten back in the coaching business. And remember, there was that deal with South Lake Carroll where all of a sudden he's gone. He's joining us next. Don't forget, we'll have John Machota, the Athletic, on the Cowboys at 5:35. This is SicEm 365 Radio.
It takes time to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than sports. It goes for your financial goals as well. You work hard for your money, and you deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. And Tom Albers, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help. If your financial investments aren't putting forth the effort you desire, stop by today for a financial review. Tom Albers, 4301 Lakeshore Drive, 254-776-7605. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Our communities are facing unprecedented times. At Boozer's Jewelers, we care about you and your family. If you're like me, your home has unwanted or unused jewelry lying around. They can have value, and that means we can turn that jewelry into instant cash. This is a great way to get the most value from your unwanted jewelry. At Boozer's Jewelers, we buy all kinds of unused jewelry. So give us a call and let us give you peace of mind and cash for your unwanted or unused jewelry.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction with a team of 24 experienced agents who are excited about serving you. Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. And order 30-pound bags of live crawfish by noon on Thursday and pick up on Friday to enjoy the weekend. Live crawfish available right now. And Waco Custom Marketplace doors are open for business Monday through Friday from 9 to 6, Saturday 10 to 5. And crawfish boil boxes available as well. Make your order for live crawfish by noon on Thursday. Pick up on Friday for the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh kolaches, cinnamon rolls, and baked bread daily. Butcher shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage, boudin, and house-cured and smoked bacon. Spices, seasonings, soup mixes, charcoal, and lighter fluid. Waco Custom Marketplace, doors open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturday 10 to 5, 425 Lake Air Drive, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
I hate my job, but I don't mind getting up in the morning. I dread each day, but I can't wait to get out of bed. You ask me why, and what I'll say to you is true. Well, you can get breakfast tacos at Rudy's Barbecue. Scrambled eggs and brisket, they ain't fooling around. Sausage wrap, son, they're the best in town. Barbecue for breakfast, yes, it's true. Put a smile on your morning at Rudy's Barbecue. Next in line.
Do you love Friday Night Lights? Would you like to have a bigger role than just watching the action to ensure the games are played fairly and safely? The Waco football chapter of the Texas Association of Sports Officials, or TASO, can make that happen. The 2020 Texas high school football season is right around the corner, and we need you to be a part of it. There's a shortage of officials across the state in all sports, and you can help. If you love the game and want to be a part of the solution, you can help our local student athletes continue to participate in games they love. Never officiated before? Don't worry. Waco Football Chapter can help and prepare you to make the right call. And right now, Introduction to Football Officiating class is accepting registrations. Make your first grade call today by looking us up and contacting us on Facebook at Waco Football Chapter or at our website, wacofootballchapter.com. Find out more about the Waco Football Chapter of the Texas Association of Sports Officials, or TASO. Go to wacofootballchapter.com.
This is SicEm 365 Radio. The SicEm 365 Radio app is sponsored by Alan Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Waco. Your friend in the car business at Loop 340 and east of 84. Come by. Let's be friends.
He has had a dynamic coaching career. He's the head football coach at Corsicana. He won state championships at South Lake Carroll. Hal Wasson, now the head coach, second year at Corsicana, joined SicEm365 Radio with Paul, Craig, and David. Coach, thank you very much. We had you on when you took the job, but now that you've been back in the game after not being in the game for nearly a year, what was last year's experience just getting back to what you love to do like?
It was fun. It was exhilarating. Felt very thankful, appreciative, grateful, because you never know how much you miss something till you don't have it. So I'm grateful to be here.
Even though you haven't gotten the workouts, you're not new this year. You've had that set up, so you had a program, you had some familiarity with your players. How confident are you now that you're back and being able to pick up where you guys left off at the end of last season?
Well, I'm confident. It's been interesting going through the pandemic and not being in the huddle every day with the guys, and that's just really you're missing something, and something you love, and you miss seeing the kids and them work and improve and all those things. However, on the flip side, it's been interesting that our numbers for the summer have doubled. And I see that they're happy to be around each other because, again, going back to what we do know, you never know how much you miss something till you don't have it. I see a renewed spirit. We're using it as a positive. It's been motivating to me personally, and our players are actually doubled and having fun.
Coach, this is uncharted territory for pretty much everybody, just everything that's been going on. Can you even wrap your head around, or is there any comparison to anything previously that you've dealt with? It's anything like COVID and all it's facing the world today?
Well, absolutely not. Never dealt with anything. Back in, I forget, the 2000s, late 2000s, we had Hurricane Katrina come through and had to cancel a couple of games, and we thought that was bad, trying to scramble to find a game, miss a game. This has been a whole new thing, because you realize the most important thing in life is your health, as far as your personal well-being, and your focus turns to that. Or is your family safe? Or your players safe? Or their family safe? Is the world safe? And your focus goes there. But also, as coaches, you never know. You realize how strong the bond is when you face adversity. I know when I went through adversity, I couldn't keep a phone charge on my phone because it's call after call after call. Coaches truly love and care about each other. The profession is strong. As coaches, we got together, and what do? You get a game plan together. We started the week after this started in Zoom meetings and visits, and you rely on each other. What's going to happen? What are we going to do when we do get back? So there's been extensive preparation going on, but more importantly, just building stronger relationships during this time.
Last year, 7-4. You have back a bunch of people, and how much do you feel like? And Corsicana has a rich history. You know that. I mean, that's one of the reasons you're there. They're a passionate town, but it's been a while for them. What's it like around town now about Corsicana Tigers football?
Well, it is important. And as you just mentioned, it's been important for a long time. As things evolve, things change. You're right. I'm extremely happy to be in Corsicana, where we appreciate each other. We have tremendous leadership here, and that's why I'm here, the community, the leadership within the school system. I believe in these kids. I believe in the community. So it's been fun in that regards, and I'm actually having the time of my life personally. It's been a process, as you mentioned. We went in last season with a lot of new coaches. We had to replace basically both sides of the ball. And we do have 7 returners on offense. We didn't have a quarterback or running back that ever taken a snap, and now we've gotten a wealth of experience there. They're all back. 4 of our linemen. Defensively, we had a really strong defense last year. We're going to build on that. Lost some good players. However, you're getting your system in. And, systems succeed and systems fail. and we're confident that our system. We know we're still a work in progress, but I think good things are ahead.
The biggest question about Corsicana, and I've driven through that town a million times on Highway 31, either back when I lived in Tyler or now that I live in Waco, back and forth, is I went through there the other day, Hal, and I did not get hit with a red light. I think it's the first time in human history. But how is the loop going? I know that. Where is the loop? Where are they with the loop? I know Athens created one, which is unbelievable. Is that even something on the radar in Corsicana?
It is. There's going to be a loop from the lake. Actually, we thought about moving to the lake. We love water, and they're building a loop from North Richland Chambers Reservoir through around Corsicana. The lights are important to the businesses here. Mm-hmm. It makes us tick. Kind of deal, and you're for the community. Us old veterans from the area, we kind of know how to bypass some of those lights and get from point A to point B. So I have educated our coaches on those routes.
Wow.
But yeah, you're not the first guy that said that, nor the last. But you're exactly right. Now we don't tell our opponents the secrets to that. We want them to get to spend an extra 15 minutes in the commute on getting here. But yeah.
That's hilarious.
About 4 years ago, I drove through not one stop like you were just talking about, and it was like the greatest feeling in the entire world.
It was like Shangri-La. Like, oh my
amazing.
God. I experienced traffic heaven.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And the turn lanes. And
That's right.
It's a great history. I mean, remember the days of Corsicana when Bill Jones was a great running back there, went on to play at SMU, played at Tyler Junior College. I mean, the history there is fantastic. You have a lot of history in East Central Texas, Italy, Mejia. You were at Kearns, which is right on the edge. So you have been around the area. This is kind of for you, I guess, somewhat a little bit of home.
Well, and you just hit the nail on the head. I am from this area. Grew up in this area. Played at Navarro College. I love this area. It's home to me. It's comforting to me. People rally and take care of you. So honestly, that was the drawing card. And Dr. Frost, she was actually on the committee that hired me at Carroll. I had tremendous respect for her leadership, and it provided me the opportunity to spend my dad passed in August, and I got to invest the last 8-9 months of his life with him daily. And what a comfort that was to, just go see him every night. I actually stayed there for 3 months till we sold our house. So, God had a plan, and a lot of times we don't know how to let go, but he does. And it has been a tremendous blessing for me and our family. I'm surrounded with great coaches. So I could not be happier.
Hal, thank you. Good luck this year. We appreciate it. I just noticed on your schedule, Frisco, Lebanon. I know Frisco has now 30 schools in that school district. It used to be just Frisco High. When did Lebanon start? How long have they been playing varsity football?
I think 4 years, 6 years.
Golly,
they're a new school. Yeah, Frisco, Lebanon's there. We got that at Realignment Day, and they have a great coach, a good friend there, and I wanted our kids to experience Toyota Stadium or the Star.
Right.
They deserve to get to play in those venues, and we're going to go there and play in the Toyota Stadium, and I think it'll be a great venue for our players and our fans. The key word is we want to expose our kids to those environments, and it worked out, and
That's awesome.
Great respect for them. I know their AD well. He actually replaced me at Italy back in the day, David Kirkendall. So it's a win-win for us as far as just getting in that venue and playing. I don't know about the scoreboard that night, but that's all. Hopefully that'll work our favor, but you never know.
It's an amazing facility. We've done a couple of games there. It is phenomenal. I know your kids and the fans, if they haven't been there, they will love it. Hal, thank you very much. Good luck this year. Good luck with getting through this first week and into the future and into hopefully eventually practice and pads and games, and thanks for your time.
Appreciate your time. Appreciate what you do in exposing a great game. Thank you very much.
Hal Wasson, head football coach at Corsicana, 7-4 last year. 2 championships at South Lake Carroll. The Silver Fox, one of the famous comeback wins against Skyline back the year they won a state title in 2011. All right, when we come back, John Machota, the Athletic, on the Cowboys. There's a story that's in the Athletic about the Cowboys, about the 15 or whoever pickups from the Mike McCarthy era. It has begun. We'll get to that with John Machota. I think Stern may have written the article, but we'll talk with John Machota, Cowboys, next on SicEm365 Radio.
Are you in the market for a new home, or you're trying to sell your current home? Are you looking to upsize or downsize? You need a realtor in your corner that can guide you through anything you'll encounter. You contact Lance Donaldson and the Donaldson family team, brokered by eXp Realty, and let them be your go-to source as you search for your perfect home. Lance is a great listener, a great guy. You'll love him. He's going to find every detail that you need in that perfect home. So give him a call, 254-214-3713, or online, lancedonaldson.exprealty.com.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and 2-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T, or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
Have you ever thought about how great it would feel a month or 6 months or a year from now if you weighed less and were in better shape and more fit than you are today? Think about that. Words can't explain the confidence I have because of what I've experienced and what I continue to experience every day at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness. I promise if you join today, you'll thank me later. Offering a variety of different classes, over 40 of them every single week, including boot camp on Tuesday and Thursday mornings. And there's free daycare. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness open Monday through Thursday 5 to 10, Friday 5 to 8, Saturday and Sunday 7 to 7. Contact personal trainers Christy London or Randall Corley and let them make you feel better about yourself. Also, world-class tennis facility with Pro Britt Coleman and Director of Adult Tennis and Special Events Joe Rosa. A spacious, clean, and sanitized workout room, no intimidation, tremendous camaraderie, an all-new atmosphere that will make you love doing burpees. It's time to react today, not tomorrow. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lake Shore Drive in Waco.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, French oak, rye, and brimstone. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
Ram, a legend of loyalty. Alan Samuels, legendary customer loyalty. Now bringing you special Ram pricing to kick off summer. Pick the perfect Ram 1500 regular cab with special incentives, including $500 additional first responder bonus cash. Now just $22,990. Or pick up a loaded up new Ram 2500 HD Limited 4x4. The Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Now with up to $12,000 in savings. Drive forward. Ram. From Alan Samuels.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. It's time for our weekly segment with John Machota of The Athletic. Brought to you by Pioneer Steel and Pipe, where customer service is their main focus. And best in metal, steel, and pipe for large or small projects. With 2 locations in Waco and Bryan. Family owned and operated since 1943.
This technology is getting to me. I've got AirPods in my ears because my phone's not working. I can't listen. I got Amelia and her...
Amelia Bedelia.
And then Deontay Deps writes steps. And, I mean, we got people everywhere, Craig Smoke, Paul Catalina. And now joined by John Machota of theathletic.com. And John, thanks for your time. We appreciate you, and thanks you for being flexible with your time. Yesterday we asked another analyst who covers the Cowboys, we asked about just some football stuff, and the answer was like, listen, with all that's going on, it's kind of hard to talk football, and I get that as well. But there are topics when it comes to football. Of all of what Mike McCarthy has done, not just the talent or whatever else, is there anything in particular that sticks out to you, considering there really was no football off season?
The thing that stands out to me the most, and I don't know if it's just Mike McCarthy or Mike McCarthy and Mike Nolan, just how much different this defense looks like it's going to be. I don't really know what to expect. Obviously there's a new coaching staff, but it's just like the players that they've added, whether it be through the draft or through free agency. I think that to me is the most interesting thing, because we're at a time right now where we would normally have some mini camps and be able to watch some things. And I don't know that anybody really has a great idea, including the players, because they haven't got a chance to be out there yet, of what they're going to do. Now, Mike McCarthy has said all the right things up to this point about them being more multiple, them being more aggressive. I mean, those are the things that fans want to hear, because that's not what the Cowboys defense has been. So if we're just talking about since Mike McCarthy's been here, I'd say that's the biggest thing to me, because I feel like offensively, when you keep guys like Kellen Moore on the staff and Doug Nussmeier, you still know that, they're going to add CeeDee Lamb in the mix, and they lose Travis Frederick, but for the most part, we kind of know what to expect there. But really, it's defensively, it's kind of like, I don't know really what they're going to be doing over there, to a point where it's kind of strange, because I feel like, I don't know, for a decade, we kind of knew what to expect over there. And so that's the really exciting thing. That's the thing that I want to see, whenever they are able to return, go to training camp, whatever that is, if we're even allowed to be there for that. And I want to see what that is. So for me, it's all about the changes on defense, because I still think the offense is going to be one of the better units in the league.
Richard Sherman criticized Jerry Jones today. I know that Des Bryant came to his defense for not speaking. I think it's kind of a weird thing to call somebody out for not saying something, especially if they want to make sure they're ready and they do it right. How do you think Jerry Jones will handle what is going on right now in America?
That's a great question. I don't know if anybody has any idea. I don't even know if Jerry knows right now. That could be one of the reasons he's being silent, to the point where I can see both sides of that as well. Like, I certainly don't think that anybody should be calling anybody else out on this topic on social media or wherever. I just don't think it's fair. But with that being said, what Richard Sherman said is what a lot of people are thinking. That's the problem you run into when you talk about just about everything and every topic's on the table. So then when you don't talk about a topic, people are kind of looking at you like, hey, how come you haven't said anything about this? You're like, a lot of people look at Jerry Jones like the NFL, right there with Roger Goodell as being one of the most powerful men in the league. And so I completely understand where Richard Sherman's coming from. But at the same time, me as a person, I don't think it's fair to call somebody out right now, because you just don't know what's going through that person's mind, what they're dealing with, what plans they might have. If I had to guess right now, Jerry Jones' plan of attack is, I think it's going to be something very similar to what they had done the last couple of years. And that ties in with the video that they put out recently. And there's supposed to be a series of videos. And that's going to be about helping police officers better understand, how to deal with people of other races and people in the community, and change the way that police go about policing, really. And that's always been, that's where Jerry kind of was when we've had these issues in the past. But the thing is that it's gone so much beyond that now. And we're to the point now where we can really expect entire teams to be kneeling during the national anthem. And that's just such a hot topic, specifically here in Dallas, because Jerry Jones is the one owner that has really been on the record saying that all the players on the Dallas Cowboys, will stand and have their, I think he said toe on the line on the sideline for the national anthem. And so when you come in with that hard of a stance that there's not going to be any leeway, then people want to know, hey, Roger Goodell just put out a statement last Friday saying that he understands that they should be allowing these, peaceful protests and things like that. So a lot of people, not just us, are waiting to hear what Jerry Jones says about this, because this is an issue where you can kind of just ride the fence. You gotta, when you've said the things that Jerry Jones has said up to this point, you gotta take a stand one way or the other. And either way, you're gonna be upsetting some people.
John, I just want to say I'm in total agreement on not judging what others have or haven't said, but obviously there's a clear reason why people are focused on Jerry Jones. So I just want to say I agree with you totally on that part of it. When it comes to what Roger Goodell said last week, do you think that was a big missed opportunity for the NFL and not specifically talking about Kaepernick? They addressed seemingly, everything else. He admitted that it wasn't handled the right way. Did you see that as a step forward for the NFL, or did they miss an opportunity?
I think it's a step forward, just because, they should acknowledge, the issues that there are in this country. Because, when you're the NFL, it's kind of like, hey, you're the big boy on the block right now. There's no professional sports league in the United States of America that's more powerful than the NFL right now. And so, and obviously it's a league that has a lot of black players. So Roger Goodell had to say something. In regards to Colin Kaepernick, I know a lot of people wanted him to say something there, and I don't think it's a missed opportunity, because I think he can still say that at any point, just because it's not like the season's starting right now. And the other thing is, even if he says something, I don't know how much that matters, because he can't sit there and say, I'm going to force a team to sign him. It's not like it's not like he's giving him a job in the NFL front office. Like, a team still has to sign him. And so I think that, I don't know what Colin Kaepernick's been doing working out-wise. Things I've read is that he's been working out as hard as ever. And so if that's the case, and then he'll have an opportunity in the NFL. I don't know what team it'll be with. I don't know if he'll be able to come in and be a starter or compete for a starting job, but I think he'll have a place in the NFL. And I do think that there are teams that will give him an opportunity. But it'll just be interesting to see what that role is, just because it's kind of like, like we've talked about on here before with the Aldon Smith thing. When the NFL is just one of those things where, when you are away from it for, just 1 year, let alone multiple years, it takes a while to get back into it. So I just don't know where he would be at, but obviously that's what a lot of people want to see. They want to see Colin Kaepernick back in the NFL. I just don't know what team will be the one that ends up signing him, or what his role will be.
Well, yeah, when we mentioned this yesterday, Paul, Craig,
Malcolm
Jenkins, who I've agreed with a lot of things that Malcolm Jenkins has said really the last 3 or 4 years, and how he's carried himself. But he said yesterday that they need to apologize to Kaepernick. Everyone can have an opinion about that. But to assign him to a team, I don't even think Colin Kaepernick wants that. I surely, if I was him, I don't think that's what I would want. And I don't, that was the one thing he's ever said that I was like, no, you don't just say, okay, you're going to go play for Arizona.
Well, even if that happens, even if he gets back in the league, that doesn't end anything there, because this is a guy that quarterbacked a team to a Super Bowl. And so even if he gets on a team, and let's say he's the backup, if the starter isn't playing well, there's still going to be a lot of people that are like, well, Colin Kaepernick needs to be playing over this player. Or the other side is if he does get a starting job and he gets pulled from a game or something because he's not playing well, then there'll be people that are saying that, he's not getting a fair opportunity. So even if he gets back in the league, it's not like you can apologize and let him back in the league. It's not like there's not going to still be criticism. There's so many different layers to it. But a start would be apologizing, obviously. And somehow getting him back on a team, because here's the thing, like, even with the years off that he's had, I find it hard to believe, if he's been staying in shape, that he's not good enough to be on an NFL team. Especially with teams expanding rosters now. I just find it hard to believe that he isn't, one of the top 60, 70 quarterbacks in the league. There's a lot of teams that have some backups that just, you're kind of like, I don't know what that guy would do if he gets in a game. So there certainly is a spot for him in the NFL.
Yeah, the question is, does he want to play?
He does. He does. Yes, he does want to play.
Yeah. And John, I think that was, especially at the time, it was completely highlighted by the fact that Colin Kaepernick's not getting called, but Brandon Weeden, Matt Castle, and guys like that just kept like, okay, we'll just bring him in. You're like, all right.
Oh, the one that I keep going to, Paul, is Akeem Hicks from the Bears, when he was asked about Colin Kaepernick, and he goes, we signed Mike Glennon. I feel like a lot of people feel the same way, is that you look across the league and you're just like, this guy keeps getting re-signed and this guy keeps getting re-signed. You can't tell me that guy is going to give them a better chance to win than Colin Kaepernick. And so clearly he was not being given an opportunity on purpose, because there is a spot. If it's supposed to be, the league is supposed to be the best of the best football players in the world, Colin Kaepernick is certainly still one of them, even if he isn't a starter. So it seems like some team has to have a role for him somewhere. But I will say the one thing that is kind of interesting about that is most teams don't want a backup quarterback being a guy that's talking to the media all the time. They kind of want a guy that kind of just sits back and he's kind of like just, a leader behind the scenes, kind of seen but not heard type thing, because they want your franchise, your starting quarterback, to be the face. Well, no matter what team Colin Kaepernick signs with, he is going to be a huge story every single week, and people are going to be talking to him. And it might not even be about football. It could be about social issues and injustice in America and things like that. It's going to be a story. It's not going away. And so it's got to be the right team, because it's got to be a team that has the right roster, right coaching staff, right front office that can deal with that and be fine with that.
John, if you ever do decide to write a book, I think a good topic for you would be the rise of Mike Glennon into what he was, and that he and his parents helped run off Russell Wilson from NC State, and then he's continued to get quarterbacking jobs in the league, and I, for the life of me, cannot figure out why.
I remember the pre-draft stuff on him going into the draft was that, he had kind of nobody looked at him as really being a starter, but he could be a solid player that, had good instincts, got good knowledge of the game, just could be a solid guy. Frankly, I've watched him play a lot in college. I thought he'd be okay, but I didn't think he'd still be in the NFL this long, but here we are.
All right, thank you, John. John Machota with us.
1 second. I do have one more question, because I heard you and Paul, both proud FSU alums, discussing this on the phone, the Mike Norvell situation that seems to have calmed down now, John, but we do talk a lot of college football. Is your confidence level in him shaken at all by what transpired a few days ago, or did Marvin Wilson clean it up and give everybody confidence it's going to be all right?
Well, first off, I have to say I'm not an alum like Paul. I've been a diehard Florida State fan since I was a little kid. No, believe me, there was a point there when that surfaced, what Marvin Wilson said, that, hey, what he's saying here is not right. This didn't happen. I was starting to think, well, the last head coach was a disaster there, but he got to coach games. Is this new head coach going to get fired before he gets to coach a game?
Yeah.
So, like Paul and I talked about, the bar is just very low right now at a program that, I went to the national title game in 2013 when they beat Auburn, and I don't know, that just doesn't feel like that's that long ago to me. Mm-hmm. And where the program's at, to me, it's at a point where I never thought that Florida State could get to, just because I believe, okay, you can say Texas and California are just as good as Florida in terms of players that are in that state, but for the size and the square mileage, you're in a recruiting hotbed with just a short little drive in the car. So I just feel like Florida State should never fall to where they are right now. So I just don't think it's that hard just to not mess it up. But it seems like it is harder than what I think it is, because they continuously, the last few years, are just in the headlines for the wrong reason.
Thank you, buddy. John Machota, The Athletic, with us on Wednesdays in a show that we've had 8 different guests, from college baseball, the draft, to reminiscing with Beasley Reese, to high school football coaches, to former Baylor receiver Tevin Reese.
Do y'all want to go ahead and tell Deontay the surprise? We're going to add an extra hour. There's 5 more guests coming, Deontay.
His fingers have blisters on them. The Rob Manfred story of telling the Major League Baseball Network with John Hyman, guaranteed there will be baseball this year, 100%, he said, has been noted. That's kind of a, because baseball's been kind of floundering. I noticed something about the NBA. I saw Chuck Cooperstein saying something about they might broadcast from an alternate venue.
Yeah, well, he's going to broadcast. His belief is that he's going to broadcast from, an office or remotely somewhere.
Well, the game, didn't Tirico do that for the golf tournament?
Yeah.
That's been done before.
So, and they've been doing, ESPN's
done that.
Been doing it where they pick up for example, if they do a Baylor game on ESPN3, they don't send people, they just pick up the Baylor Vision feed and do it from, their house, wherever they are, from some kind of office or whatever. And that's what he thinks they're going to do. He also mentioned, though, because Woj dropped a little mini Woj bomb in that players were on a Zoom call And the topic of the Zoom call was, is this really the best idea to put us all in a bubble in Orlando? And so while this appears to be moving forward, there still could be, some roadblocks to it.
It says several dozen players took part in a conference call in the past 24 hours to discuss it. They've agreed on a provision that wouldn't require players to restart the season or subject them to discipline for staying home. The players would lose a portion of salary for those games missed. So it's just kind of like they're ironing out, I think, the details right now. But, yeah, apparently there are a few people who are a little bit more hesitant as far as bringing this back. And I was going to ask, because I haven't watched much of the KBO, are those announcers remote?
I don't know. I mean,
I would think so, right?
Well, I think, though, American announcers are for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, that's the same thing, and that's not too big of a deal.
Yes, because I don't want to say something that, you never know on social media, and I'm trying to John Haverland on Twitter, who is an auto racing columnist, just posted an Instagram from Ray Ciccarelli that he's going to it's been a fun ride and dream come true, but if this is the direction NASCAR is headed, we will not participate after the 2020 season is over.
Oh, I see the post now. He said, well, it's been a fun ride and a dream come true. We have I don't believe in kneeling during the anthem or taking people. He cannot spell very well. That probably doesn't surprise you.
Taking people right to fly whatever flag they love. I could care less about the Confederate flag, but there are people that do, and it doesn't make them a racist. All you do is blanking one group to cater. Wow.
Yeah, he just went off.
And that says Sarah Ciccarelli. Now, that's under Ray Ciccarelli's Instagram. It happened like 40.
That's a Facebook post, and he
said.
That's
the next thing.
Whoever typed it said, I ain't spend no money. We are to participate. So basically, the line that does make sense. So everything is for sale in all capital letters.
But now you wonder. Now again, here's why when you put her name at the end of it, is this like something? Well, we were hacked. We didn't.
Yeah.
But
I think it's a pretty silly thing to quit your job over.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, but there'll be some that just won't go to NASCAR races. They will sell their stuff, won't go support them. If they love the races, they love the race. And again, we'll see what happens. I'm going to be on in like 10, 12 minutes with Usky and Herbie in, I think, North Carolina.
Well, I guess this
Herb FM Sports Radio.
I guess this is in part due to, NASCAR made the announcement that I read off a little bit earlier about the Confederate flag being prohibited. And I just saw this story, too, where they had apparently removed the guidelines that team members must stand for the national anthem so that whoever chooses to can, I guess, take a knee or peacefully protest in any way. So he's also referencing that, he, she, whoever typed that on that Facebook post. But, yeah, I mean, you talk about a pretty crazy reaction to have and probably not one that's going to go very well for them.
All right.
By the way, a death in the baseball world today. Smokey, you remember Claudell Washington?
Yeah, Oakland A's. Lefty, yeah. I think he was the left-handed hitter, played outfield, maybe a little DH. Pretty good player.
Yeah, played for the Rangers, White Sox, Mets, and Yankees. Angels. 1,884 career hits, 312 stolen bases in his career.
1,884 hits? I would never have thought he had that many. But he was a good little hitter. He was a kind of...
17 years in the major leagues, died at 65.
All right, so we ought to make Deontay list all 37 guests that we had on the show today. Let's see how good he is. Deontay, you are up. And by the way, Amelia's here. She's taking pictures and putting together and video. Okay, that's scary. I even brushed my hair today, whatever I have left. Amelia Bedelia, she's here, and then also Deontay F. Deontay, list them off,
all right,
please, sir.
We had Baylor baseball coach Steve Rodriguez. We had Jason King, Beasley Reese, Tevin Reese, Jerry Bomar, Todd Berry, Hal Wasson, and John Machota. And probably another one in this next.
No,
surprise! Now joining us,
Don Hyde called me. I had spoken to him. I tried to speak to him earlier about Beasley Reese. I wanted him to listen to the interview. He didn't even know any connection about Beasley Reese. So that's great to LaVega. And I said, hey, you need to tap into that history.
Heck yeah!
So that's great to be able to do that as well. We'll have a couple of high school coaches. Plus, we'll have Mickey Spagnola tomorrow, and also we'll have Max Olson among a few others. What a day!
Yeah, it's been great.
Baseball,
really good guest.
Baseball, maybe. Todd Berry was great. I'm glad that he was able to. Craig, thanks for that heads up. Good luck to Nick Lofton. from Baylor on getting, we hope, drafted today.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe hear from him tomorrow. There's a media session. Man, what a day. What a day. Thanks to Craig Smoke. Bob Sturm did write something about the 15 McCarthy-era editions. We'll get into that tomorrow. Anything else, guys?
Nope.
Deontay, great to have you again.
Sir.
Amelia, thank you so much. Paul Catalina runs he's our concert pianist. Thanks to all of our amazing sponsors. I just received the text from Steve Childress from Stonewood Dental that just unbelievable. He was the first guy. Like within about 30 minutes, he and Brad Boozer called and said, hey, what do we need to do to be a part of the show?
And I just wanted to add, this dawned on me, I think we are now 2 episodes away from episode number 50.
Yes.
Already. So halfway to 100 here in a couple of days.
I'm going to put this out there for tomorrow because I've set it up early in the show especially, 254-339-1122. Please call us. You will, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to hear an automated message. So it's going to sound a little robot-y. When you get in that message, you get in the queue, and we will be able to take calls. I promise.
Yes, stop.
I promise.
Like, I won't sleep tonight. It's like the first play. It's like Christmas morning.
Well, go ahead and put that phone number into your phone because that is also
we need to blow
text
that up.
line.
Yeah.
And we love the text line. And thank you to Riverbend Liquor and Wine. But, yeah, we definitely want to get those phone lines fired up. So go ahead and just put that because with football season coming up, you're going to want to call in and complain about coaching or, brag about something. I don't know.
And it's something that we had to deal with, a part of what we do. But I tell you, we can't. But, my God, there's some news that we're going to have here, hopefully by the end of the week, that is just unbelievably spectacular along with what we do every day, growing every day, sponsors, listeners, you, guests. Thanks to Ideal MRI.